Started in just 1 minute if we can find our seats. All right, it looks like everybody has found a seat, and thank you everyone for coming. Those of you who swam here in the pouring rain, thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. This is November 15th, 2023. It's our regular city council meeting, and it is exactly 6 o'clock. We did have a closed session this evening earlier, and so I'll ask our attorney if there's anything to report out.
There's no reportable action tonight, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Melching. And Madam Clerk, have you received any correspondence on tonight's agenda?
Yes, Your Honor, I have. And you can find the email correspondence in the red folders in front of you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And if you don't mind, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Dinas?
Here.
Councilmember Estrada?
Here.
Councilmember Sobek?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Carwin?
Here.
And Mayor Zimmerman?
And I'm here. Thank you. I know we have item 3, words of inspiration. Pastor Tony Truax from Hope Christian Church. Thank you, Pastor, for being here this evening to give us some words of inspiration.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council, and good evening, everybody, friends. As a pastor in Menifee since 2002, my inspiration comes from God's Word, and I'd like to share one scripture with you that I think is very inspirational for this season, and that is from Psalm 107, 8 and 9. It says, "Let them give thanks to the Lord for his unfailing love and his wonderful deeds for mankind, for he satisfies the thirsty and fills the hungry with good tidings." Can I just ask everybody to bow your heads in prayer if you're so inclined? Let's pray. Almighty God and Father, as we begin this season of Thanksgiving, let us first come before your holy throne and thank you for the wonderful life that we have here in the beautiful city of Menifee. This evening, we pray and ask for your wisdom to be granted to our council members and our mayor and the staff here. And we pray for our citizens of our wonderful city. We pray, Lord, for safe neighborhoods. We ask that our businesses would prosper, that our schools would have your hedge of protection around them. We ask, Lord, for your blessings upon the assisted living facilities and all their residents and staff, our hospitals. Let your mercy be upon all of them. We pray, Lord, and thank you for our first responders, our law enforcement, our military, and their families for their sacrifice and service above all else. And now, Lord, we thank you for your unfailing love and your wonderful deeds. Bless our time together, and we pray and ask these things in your holy and precious name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Pastor Truax. We appreciate you being here this evening. And Pastor, you mentioned our military veterans, and this was Veterans Weekend this last weekend. It was a great opportunity for all of us to participate in so many events. It was opportunities to thank those who served. And with that in mind, we are on our Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask a 27-year Navy veteran. He's also a chamber member and a business owner, Noel Cahuto, if you don't mind leading us in the flag salute, please.
Everybody stand up. Right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Noel. Okay, we are on item 5, and I'm going to ask my council colleagues to join me up front for the first 2 items, the first being the Outstanding Citizen of the Month, Sheila Lawton, and we're going to ask Sheila to join us up front as well. All right. whenever there's somebody who is honored and there's a room full of people that are here, that shows that everybody supports and appreciates the choice for our Citizen of the Month. Each month we choose someone special, someone who gives to the community and goes that extra mile. And this month's choice was Councilman Dinas' choice, so I'm going to have him share why he chose Miss Sheila Lawton.
It's probably one of the most easiest decisions I ever made here on City Council in the last 5-6 years. So we'll pause for a moment here. But, you know, Outstanding Citizen of the Month, you know, it's for those that work hard but never get the acknowledgement. And so I think when it was my turn, it's like, you know, who is that person that works so hard for our city but doesn't get the acknowledgement they deserve? And my first thought was Sheila. You know, but the second thing is that in our policy it says either outstanding resident or someone that works in the city. And an additional bonus to having Sheila as an outstanding citizen is that it highlights that our city staff gives a lot back to the community more than just their job. And so that's an extra bonus for today. Now, a lot of us who have special needs family members know both the joy and the challenges of having a family member that way. And, you know, in our case, we always wanted our son to grow up to be normal, to what wise counselor once told us then that, well, normal is just a sitting on your dryer. And so, but Sheila has worked diligently with Special Olympians. And I thought, and if you go to the Tip of Copper, anything fundraiser for the Special Olympics, her fingerprints are all over it. And because she has a heart for that, not only that, I'll let her talk to all the stuff she's done, but you know, she takes the Special Olympians nationally to compete. That's how dedicated she is. So I don't want to sit here and talk and brag on her. I'll let her do that all to herself. So I hand it over to you.
I just want to say I'm truly grateful to you for selecting me for this award. Before I get into my speech that I have right here, I do want to say that I've been in Special Olympics for probably over 5 or 6 years, and it's been a passion for me. Yes, I do have a son with special needs, and that was the fuel to my fire. So that's why I do what I do. I've been to USA Games with a couple of my athletes. Last year, participated in the 2022 Special Olympics USA Games, and my team and the bowling team, and we won a gold medal for doubles. And the team won a bronze medal, and that was an opportunity I will never forget, but I thank those parents and the coaches and my athletes that give me the opportunity to really showcase my coaching skills and even life skills too. It's just not about coaching, but it's life skills too. So I'll get to my little speech right now. Good evening, Mayor, and City Council members. Councilmember Dinas, thank you for selecting me to receive this award. I'm truly honored and grateful to you. I never expected to receive an award like this, especially in the community of Menifee, where I love to serve as a coach of the mighty Menifee Special Olympics team. When your heart is in it for the right reasons, you don't expect to receive recognition like this. Many of my family and friends know that I'm a giver, not a receiver. However, I've been reminded and told that I need to learn to receive the blessings that come my way, because once my cup is empty, I don't have anything to give. So I humbly received this award with much love and appreciation. I want to thank my family, my amazing husband, because I'm never home. Where are you going? Special Olympics. My children, Miss Hilda, who is our local program coordinator for the Mighty Menifee team, for her leadership and guidance, the SOSC organization, and our athletes, who are the many reasons why I do what I do. Most importantly, I would like to thank God for our son, Dale Anderson. He's the reason why I continue to do what I do. This young man has proven to the world that he is not different, but uniquely awesome in everything he does. And he continues to showcase his talents. He is the fuel to my fire, and I thank God for him every day. In closing, the Special Olympics model really speaks to me because it embodies our accomplishments and a chance to be brave and pursue, here we go, our dreams. It would mean so much to me if everyone can repeat the Special Olympics motto. So please repeat after me. I need to hear all your voices. Let me win. Let me win. But if I cannot win, let me be brave. Let me be brave. In the attempt. Councilmember Dinas, thank you once again for your thoughtfulness and your opportunity to share my passion and love for my athletes and to the Special Olympics organization. Thank you.
You always run into certain people in your life that are so passionate about what they do that when they ask, they won't take no for an answer. And that's the way Sheila is. She's so passionate about this that she'll get there, get involved, and make sure you get involved too. So for that, we have a nice certificate here that we'd like to give you that you can hang up there in your office and hanging over the chief of police there saying, what, you got one and he doesn't have one. So, but for those who don't know, this is the executive assistant for our chief of police. That's how important she is. So not just for the Special Olympians, but for our city as well. So thank you so much for all you do. I appreciate it very much. Can I just see if anyone else has anything to say?
Is this on? I just want to say I'm going to adopt her too as just an extra citizen of the month tonight. She is well deserved to have this, and I just say congratulations. Thank you for your example. Your example helps other citizens see they can do things too and make a difference.
Ms. Lawton, congratulations. Every time I see you at an event, you know what you're doing, you're quick, you're witty, and I just say, yes, ma'am. And you lead the way, and I'll follow your lead, but you definitely have that leadership quality, and we're glad you're part of our team. Congratulations.
You know, a lot of times we get the Citizen of the Month name, and I go, oh, that's interesting. I'll look it up and see what they've done. Don't have to do that with you. Just let the page say, yep, box check, done. Easiest decision in the world. So congratulations, and very, very well-deserved, and thank you for everything you've done for the city of Menifee.
I've been able to watch you perform on some events that aren't necessarily city events, but community events. I think of Faith in Blue, and you took charge of that and organized all of that and did such a great job. And I'll just tell everybody, I remember our first police chief, Pat Walsh, used to call you the real chief. And I thought that was well-deserved. So anyway, congratulations. Sheila and the family step forward, and the council will be behind you.
You're going to be in front of me.
Okay, our next item is our business spotlight of the month, and we are going to be honoring Anguiano's Bakery, and I think Adrian might be here. So, Adrian, why don't you come on up and join us here? We'll put you next to Gina, and she's going to share a little bit about this month's business spotlight.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, Gina Gonzalez, Economic Development Director for this beautiful city. How many of you guys have heard of our Business Spotlight program? This is wonderful. So again, for those of you that are unaware that are at home, you can go online to menifeebusiness.com and you can look up the Business Spotlight. It tells you all about our program. But with that, the businesses that are selected, they receive a marketing video and we publish them in our Menifee Matters press. They kind of get the big love hug from our department in our city. So with that, our November Spotlight is Anguiano's Bakery. I always say it wrong. I apologize. Anguiano's. So we're very, very proud to have you in our community as one of our business spotlights. They are family owned and operated right here in Sun City. They are specializing in handcrafting delectable Mexican pan dulce. How many know what pan dulce is? If you don't, you're in for a treat. It translates to sweet bread and encompasses a variety of Mexican pastries. Adrian, along with his mother, Maria, she's here tonight. Can she come up with you? She is a labor of love, and I'll tell you why in a minute. She belongs up here. Who are the mastermind behind the scrumptious pastries and manage the bakery. The bakery offers an array of sweet and savory options, including seasonal pastries, sweet empanadas, savory breads. I'm going to let Adrian tell you more in just a minute. But with that, their customary breakfast dish is paired with a hot cup of chocolate or milk. Seeking guidance from their mentors, Magdalena, Mom, and Adrian, learned the craft of creating pan dulce. Typically, Magdalena's day begins, you guys want to know what time? 2 a.m., where her and her sister create delicacies from scratch. Adrian, on the other hand, begins his day around 4 a.m. assisting the bakery in preparations to open. Since opening the bakery, they have been a resounding success assisting in the bakery's, a resounding success. The bakery has experienced consistent sellouts daily. I can't tell you how many people that I talk to, then they're out completely. I'm not shocked anymore, particularly on weekends, so get there early, you guys. Anguiano's Bakery prioritizes quality over quantity in their business model, utilizing only the finest and most authentic ingredients in their products. Their commitment to maintaining the utmost quality in their offerings have led customers to inquire about their secrets as they stand out from larger corporate bakeries that fail to deliver the same level of authenticity. Since making Menifee their home, Adrian feels a sense of belonging within the community's diverse cultures, heritage, and family traditions. They express a sincere gratitude for the opportunity to serve Menifee and their community, which has warmly embraced their bakery. So with that, as part of this recognition, we're going to roll the video that they worked on with one of our contractors, and then we'll turn it over to the council.
For many centuries, Panecito and coffee have brought many families together. At Anguiano's Bakery, it's our pleasure to bring this tradition to the city of Menifee and its surroundings. We make every single piece of bread with the highest quality ingredients and, most important, made with love. We hope your family enjoys every single bite as much as we did making it. Join us at Anguiano's Bakery, where every bite is a taste from home.
Excellent. So it's great to be able to have that video. I hope you'll use it for marketing and put it on social media. And I know some of our council members might want to say a few words. You guys want to share anything?
I just want to say I love your ingredient is love. So I just love that. So congratulations.
Bienvenidos. Welcome. Yeah, thank you so much for starting here in Menifee. We are looking for businesses just like you, the homemade mom and pop. We are rooting for you. Que Dios te bendiga. God bless you.
Well, thank you for investing in Menifee. I didn't realize I had to set my alarm clock so early in order to get some bread. But we're going to have to start doing that. But thank you so much for everything you do here, and best wishes in the future.
I just want to tell everybody the secret tip to make sure you get it before the sellout is to go to one of the many public events that you guys support by bringing your materials to it. We've got all kinds of public events here at the golf course and around town where your bakery items are right there, and they're always gone. People are stuffing them in their purses and in their jackets, and that's the secret way to get it. So come on out, support it, just like you've supported our community. It's delicious, and thank you for bringing life to our Sun City shopping plaza.
With that, we're going to turn it over to you.
Okay, well, just want to say thank you. I'm not that much of a speaker. I know how to work and work hard, but not that much of a speaker. I'm a little shy, guys, but I just want to say thank you to the major council members and all the people that thought about us and us being here. We worked really hard. I started with 2 people, my mother, myself. Now it's 3 of us, and hopefully in the future we can become an actual big company. We're probably the smallest company here, but with the biggest heart, and we're just happy to be here, and we say thank you.
Before we take a picture, I just want to present you with the certificate that you can hang on your wall, and hopefully it'll remind you that the city of Menifee supports you, and we thank you for being here, and it give you many, many years of success.
Okay, so on our agenda is item 5.3, Caltrans update, but unfortunately with the impending storm, Caltrans asked to reschedule until after the first of the year, so we'll go ahead and move to our next item. This is item 5.4, the Wall That Heals documentary, and I see our Public Information Officer, Phil Southard, coming to the podium to present, so welcome, sir.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor, City Council. I'm here tonight to plug our first ever Menifee TV produced documentary. So I'm sure many folks are aware we had hosted the Wall That Heals here in Menifee. For those not familiar, the Wall That Heals is a scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial from Washington, D.C. Tours around the country. And Menifee was just one of the few stops in California it made this year. We had thousands of visitors. We were able to capture several stories of Menifee residents that were impacted by the wall here. Jonathan Oaxaca, our media and production coordinator, was able to package those stories together in a compelling documentary, and we debuted it just in time for Veterans Day. And with that, we have a short preview we'd like to show. If IT can run that.
I find it easy to send our finest young men into battle.
I went to school with a lot of guys that didn't make it back in Vietnam. So
It started in 1979 with our founder, Vietnam veteran Jan Scruggs. He decided he wanted to do something to remember all of those who fought in Vietnam and those who died in Vietnam.
The wall bears the names of over 58,000 service members that gave the ultimate sacrifice during one of the nation's most challenging wars.
So I have probably at least 30 or 40 people that I know. Some of them were my kids I went to school with, some of them were kids I went to boot camp with, and I say a prayer for all the people that I knew that on that wall, for all the people I knew personally.
Silent heroes are the service dogs who were KIA, Enemies Kill in Action. So that's why I'm here today to honor those war dogs.
more than just seeing the wall, it's seeing the people see the wall, them realizing what it is what's important.
Thank you, for not me, but all you guys here.
Perfect. So as mentioned, that video is now streaming. It's on Menifee TV, which is broadcast on Spectrum Channel 1301, Frontier Channel 25, as well as live on our website at cityofmenifee.us. Also, too, we have that on our YouTube channel. It's available there. Definitely encourage everyone to watch it. It's a very powerful documentary. We had to watch that numerous times making it. Bring your tissues. That's all I'm going to say. But again, that concludes our presentation, and thank you very much.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, can we have Jonathan come out to put all that together and get some recognition?
That's a
for
good
his hard
idea.
work?
Where's Jonathan Owaka? Can he come out? Is he in the, he had to
No,
go.
you're right.
Okay. Good idea.
Tell him thank you for us.
Yeah,
You know,
well done.
that was, you can tell it was a heartfelt project he did. And on behalf of the veterans, thank you.
What we just saw was the short version. So there is the version that's out there on YouTube is quite a bit longer and more detailed. And so I encourage everyone to go on YouTube, type in Menifee. You'll find our Menifee TV channel that's there, and check it out. All right, we're going to move on now. This is item 6, agenda approval modification. Madam Clerk, do we have any modifications to our agenda this evening?
No, staff does not have any modifications.
Okay, so for our agenda, council members, let's go ahead and approve that. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, our agenda is approved, and we're now on item 7. This is public comments on non-agenda items. This is the time for members of the public to address the council on items that are not on the agenda. The Brown Act limits the council's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time they're made. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes on any single item. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody to pull the speaker slip to speak?
We do have a few speakers.
All right, let's go ahead and call the first one.
Jamie Zagon.
All right, welcome. And if you would state your name one more time, just make sure we're saying it right.
Yeah, Jamie Zagoni.
Zagoni, thank you. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for your time, Mayor and council members. I live at 30231 Martin Way in Menifee Lakes. My husband and I purchased a home and moved in with our 4 children early this year. And shortly after moving in, we noticed a lot of flies and a very foul smell coming from next door. Upon further investigation, we saw that our neighbor, in fact, has a 200 to 300 pound pig living in their backyard. We hoped that the smell and the flies would ease up as the heat of the summer ended, but then we noticed the pig was also chewing and gnawing at our shared fence and the fence surrounding that property next door. And in September, the fence actually fell down. Our shared fence almost fell down entirely. I have since learned that the pig is supposed to be an emotional support animal, and I say supposed to be because I have a lot of reasons to believe that it's not, because it is outside by itself 24 hours a day except for when they let their dog out. The neighborhood that I live in is not zoned for livestock. I've contacted code enforcement, the city planning department, and animal control. Animal control advised me that zoning overrides the claim of an emotional support animal or certificate or letter, whatever it is. They said that the only way the pig could remain there is because of the zoning law is if the city actually provided the family with an exemption. The family was apparently able to get something from our city allowing them to have the pig there. And I would like to get more information about who provided this exemption and why the city wouldn't adhere to their own zoning law. Because of their decision, my family has lost the ability to enjoy our own home and is not safe to allow my children or our dog into our backyard. I'd also like to know why the neighboring residents weren't considered when this exception or exemption was given. The neighbors that own the pig, they are renters, they're not owners. And they believe it's up to the homeowner to make the repairs and take responsibility for the damages caused by their own pig. Again, I'm not sure why they were given the exemption, but I would like to know who I can talk to about this and figure out kind of what happened. From what I understand, I could basically get a giraffe and put it in my backyard as long as I have an ESA. And that's pretty frustrating. I'm gonna go ahead and end that. I do have pictures if anybody is interested in seeing them with the condition of the fence, the pig chewing at the fence line, and everything. So that is all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Zagoni. I'm going to just ask one of our staff members in the back to meet with you before you leave, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, next speaker.
David Faust, followed by Amanda Skipper.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Faust. Commissioner Faust.
Hi, thank you, Mayor and City Council. My name is David Faust, and I'm the Secretary for the Menifee Interfaith and Community Service Council. And the City of Menifee has so many wonderful community events, and we support so many wonderful charities and in the city. And I just wanted to highlight a couple that are coming up this weekend that benefit the Menifee Valley Community Cupboard. First is a city-sponsored event called Trot for a Cause, which there may be a community report on that, and that's an opportunity to make a donation of canned goods, non-perishable goods to the Menifee Valley Community Cupboard, as well as trot around the Paloma Wash, I think is where it's, oh yeah, Central Park, Paloma Wash, and enjoy some fun family activities as well. But there's another event too that's not quite as publicized, and it's an Interfaith and Community Service Council sponsored event, and it's this Sunday evening, Sunday, November 19th at 7 p.m. at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They're hosting this year for the Interfaith. At 7 p.m. is a special evening of gratitude. And it's a service of music and inspirational messages from various faith-based organizations and community leaders here within the city of Menifee. And in addition, it is a food drive to benefit the Menifee Valley Community Cupboard. So I'd encourage all of our citizens to consider participating in one of these events this weekend, because as the cupboard's motto is, hunger never rests. And in this season of Thanksgiving and gratitude, this is a wonderful way to kick off the Thanksgiving week by attending a service of inspirational music and messages, and also make a donation to benefit the community cupboard here right in Menifee, which supports those in need right here in our own town. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, David. We appreciate you coming tonight. All right, Ms. Skipper, I think you're up next. Welcome.
Hi. Good evening. On November 1st, 2023, I attended the City Council member meeting with a request for help to resolve several issues, including code enforcement, notices, and manner in which administrative is handling our current situation. The request is not unreasonable given the difficulties in receiving communication responses. I requested that a staff member from City Council member Ricky Estrada's office reach out to me. Since then, I've reached out to Code Enforcement Supervisor Mr. Wiggins, as he wanted to know my concerns for the case. I responded promptly last week with the situation and my pleas. Unfortunately, I have had no response to that email. I then called and asked to speak to the Chief of Staff for Ricky Estrada's office. I was transferred to Susie Nelson's voicemail and left a message and sent an email. I've since to receive a response. The difficulty in this situation is that there appears to be a breakdown within the departments, as well as working with the community members in providing documentation, resources, and documentation on every platform of communication. I need someone that can work with me across the different agencies. The resistance from code enforcement is not only disappointing but discouraging as a business owner and member of the Menifee Valley community. Since 2019, code enforcement has had an updated mailing address, yet all of the notices claimed to have been sent have been returned to sender, the sender being code enforcement, and is verified through tracking numbers as well as case evidence received from Officer Andrea Montez. Throughout this process, we've incurred additional fees and citations totaling over $17,400. And if not resolved, the city will put a notice of pendency of administrative proceedings against our property. Again, we have a lack of communication within the agency. Who do I go to? Who do I talk to? Please, I'm just asking that someone contact me to help me resolve this problem, just as I did 2 weeks ago. How can I request an appeal, and what do I have to do, as none of the notices have ever reached us? This is why I'm asking for reasonable accommodation. We have made great strides in resolving the issues that they claim against us, and I hope to hear from a city staff member that can assist me within the next week. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Skipper. We appreciate you coming and sharing. Yep. Madam Clerk, do we have any other speakers?
Yes, next up is Sandy McVeigh, followed by Eric Hamilton.
Welcome.
Thank you, Council and Mayor. The reason why I'm here is, first of all, I live and reside at the club in Sun City. I'm on the board of directors. We have our vice president here and also a resident. Mr. Carlin was kind enough to meet us and we talked to him about some concerns that we had, and primarily the biggest concern is that this property, our property, which is 258 homes, it's a gated community. It's, I'm sure you all know where it's at. And we've had new development on the west of us and now on the north of us. So what the problem is that we have a sidewalk issue. And the sidewalk does not extend all the way from our main gate north to the new property that's to the north of us. I communicated with the project managers, the developers, and so on and so forth, and I was told that this was going to be completed. Well, Bob was very kind to immediately look into it, and he got back to us, and so I'm sure he's working on this, but he had suggested that it would be a good idea for us to come and talk to the council and the mayor, and so that's why I'm here doing this. It's, I mean, I could go on and on and on about it. It's a hazard. Everybody parks there from all the construction that's going on. Our community can't even, it's the whole landscaping has been ruined. And so I was very disappointed that they brought all this beautiful sidewalks all the way up to the end and then right at our property. And we have sidewalk on the other side, so it's really when you get to Plum Street, Plum Drive, whatever, it's north of that. So I'm hoping that by coming tonight that y'all will help Bob, help us come to some resolution with this, because it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. I mean, you go down the street and you'll see it. In addition to that, since I figured I'd take this opportunity real quick, is that we have a traffic issue, we have a homeless issue, we're a gated community, 55 or older. Things are changing, and we just want to, be important. So I thank you very much, and you have a great holiday.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. McVeigh. We appreciate you coming and sharing.
Next up is Eric Hamilton.
All right. Welcome, Mr. Hamilton.
Bad accident.
Hello. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm Eric. I'm not David. It might be David, but I would just like to let you know that I was law enforcement here as the Sheriff's Department for 20 years. San Diego, 3-4. When the city of Menifee took over, you guys have all done a great job. I'm not blaming one person for what I'm about to say, but this RV issue of kicking everybody off property that they've purchased and are legally putting RVs on it and making $60 a month, and you go to my place right around the block from me. The place is beautiful. 60, 80 RVs on it. Everybody's moving. All of them got wheels and tires. There's no blight. We're told by the city, you know, the owner, he goes, you got to get out 30 days. I go, what? He goes, you got 30 days. So when we got now 100 RVs that got 30 days to go somewhere. You tell me one place that I can put my RV in this city. One storage facility. You tell me. I've gone to all of them. $400 a month, my RV payment's $163 a month. You're gonna make me pay $400 a month to store a little travel trailer that's brand new and beautiful? Now it's sitting in the dirt 40 miles from me. You know, can we change the ordinance? What do I have to do to change this ordinance? This RV thing has got to stop. We can't pay $400 a month to store an RV that I'm paying $163 a month to pay for it. Now we're all moving RVs from the street to our driveway. Then we get an HOA violation for our driveway. So we put it back on the street. Then we get a notice 72 hours. Cool. We drive around the block and we'll put it on the next street. We all do it. This is stupid. It's insanity. Why can't we sell a business license to these people that have a couple acres that's fenced off, that's nice, and let them make $60 a month off an RV? What's the big deal? We didn't have a problem for 20 years when I worked up here alone. Roland, Sun City, me, all of Menifee, all of Murrieta, one cop, me. I didn't have any problems. We don't need 6 cops rolling code 3 to a fender bender. All right, we need this changed. I want the ordinance changed, and I want to know how to get it changed. About this RV issue and what you guys are going to do.
Mr. Hamilton, your time is up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Madam Clerk, any other speakers on non-agenda?
No, there are no other speakers.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to move to item 9 now. Item 8, I'm sorry, council member updates and comments, and we'll start with Councilman Dinas.
Thank you. Quickly, on the 2nd of November, I attended the Veterans Expo that was sponsored by Senator Ciardo. The 7th, we had the Finance Committee meeting. On the 8th, I was fortunate enough to represent the city at the Student of the Month. The 9th, I had the Home Builders Appreciation Luncheon, which a lot of my colleagues attended. Of course, we all attended the November 11th Veterans Day event. And then today, I attended the Southwest Teen Now Committee meeting for RTA. That's my report. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Councilmember Estrada.
Hey, good evening, everybody. On the 11th, I went to the Veterans Day ceremony, and it was a beautiful weather. We had a plane fly over, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's all I got.
Excellent. Councilmember Sobek.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd just like to report out to everyone a few little events that I've attended in the last couple weeks. One of them, if you weren't out there, we had the Gail Webb Kids Are #1 Action Sports Park 1-year celebration, and Gail Webb was out there that day. I just want to give a kudos to our staff and to our park rangers. There were just many children and adults out there on their bikes enjoying that morning and having a great time. Another thing that I attended, I represent the city in the county on the RCHCA, Riverside County Habitat Conservation Agency, and they celebrated Endangered Species Month. We went out to the reserve out at Lake Matthews, and some children were on field trips from some of the schools, and they had a great time learning about some of our endangered species. I learned that we have in California opossums, not opossums. There are such things as opossums, but they said they are actually one of the best deterrents you can have in your yard to take care of pests. So they said if you see an opossum, let them hang out in your yard. He goes, they may look a little scary, but actually they're a great animal to have around. So that was interesting. I had the privilege of attending, and it was really a great privilege to attend the Menifee Senior Softball and the MSJC Girls Softball Veterans Game. This is something they want to do every year, and I actually thought this is something we should partner with them in helping to advertise this and get this out, because it was so fun. They mixed up their teams, and the girls had a great time playing softball with the men and out hitting them and outrunning them. And I learned that 80% of the men on the softball team are veterans. And so it was just a great event. I got to my first throw out the pitch, and I actually got it to the base. So I was excited about that. So as it was mentioned, we celebrated here in the city of Menifee Veterans Day. And what a beautiful program it was that we had the privilege to honor our Korean War vets. That, I want to get the correct name of it here. It is the mayor. You could probably help me. Here it is. Oh, I don't have it written down, sorry. But there's the Korean War Medal of Honor that was presented to 5 of our residents who had served in the Korean War, and they came from LA, from the consulate, and they presented these medals to these 5 Korean War veterans. And what an emotional presentation that was. And I'm going to share it here. I shared it the other day that this man here in the yellow vest, that is Tony Espejo, and he belonged to the original Veterans Committee that our city had. And when I went before that committee to discuss about doing a military banner program in the city, he sat across the table from me and he said, "You know what? I really like the idea, but I'm mad." He goes, "When I came home from Korea, nothing was done for us." And so I was thrilled to see that he was there the other day and he received his medal, thanking our American soldiers for helping that country. So that was really touching for me. And I just thought how perfect that our first Menifee TV documentary was to support our veterans. And I love what Jonathan said in there, hometown of heroes. We've been looking for an identity, and I want us to remember that, hometown of heroes. I just want to go on to say that I attended Senator Ciarto's Veterans Expo along with some of my council members. I attended the WRCA Western Riverside Regional Conservation Authority meeting, and it was we've been given information that Ann Mayer, who's been the executive director for that in RCTC, they have voted to appoint Erin Hake as the new director that will take effect when she retires next year. I attended the WRCOG meeting, and at that meeting they announced that Menifee would receive $1 million for the Holland Road I-215 overcrossing, which will help us with some of that extra expenses that has happened there. I attended a finance meeting with Councilmember Dinas. I attended the annual Home Builders Appreciation Luncheon, and I just want to say congratulations to KB Homes for being honored as the Home Builder of the Year in the city of Menifee. I attended the Menifee Valley Community Cupboard Annual Turkey Drive, and they made kind of an announcement. If you are free Friday morning from 7:30 to about noon, they are passing out their turkey boxes and food to those residents, and they need help. So if you're looking for something you want to make help for Thanksgiving, come out Friday to the Menifee Cupboard. And that's all I have to report on.
All right. Sounds like a busy couple weeks. All right, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Just a couple of things. I had the honor to be the host and MC of the Boys and Girls Club fundraiser gala. That was a great evening raising funds for our Boys and Girls Club. And then I attended the Chamber of Commerce Wake Up Menifee event at the Antelope Rural Center with the featured speaker, Mayor Bill Zimmerman, to give us a history of the Rural Center. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, very good. I'll try to be quick. It was a busy couple of weeks. On Thursday, the 2nd, Senator Sayardo, I attended the Veterans Expo at Monteleone. And on Friday, the 3rd, there was the Barn Dance fundraiser that is a benefit for the cupboard over at the K. Sinicero Center. Bill and Colleen Ackerman hosted that. On Saturday, the 4th, was the 1-year anniversary for the pump track, and it was great to be with Gail Webb. She was very excited, and there was hundreds and hundreds of kids on bikes, and our friends at Menifee Bicycles were there as well with some giveaways. Then I went over to MSJC after that for the Shop the Block event. And then later that evening, as was mentioned, the Boys and Girls Club Gala fundraiser, I attended that. On Monday, the 6th, I joined our economic development team for their site selectors tour. On Wednesday, the 8th, I attended the RCTC Commission, and we did get an update from SCAG's director, Komi Ajisi, and it was kind of an update on the Connect SoCal plan. I know Ricky's our representative on SCAG, and so he's aware there's a whole regional transportation sustainable community strategy, and that's going to be really put into place in this next year. And then later there was an economic development ad hoc committee meeting with Mayor Pro Tem Carwin and I to look at some deal points for some future development projects. On Thursday the 9th, I was at the Home Builder Appreciation event, and like Lisa said, it was great to honor KB Homes. They're the ones who installed that microgrid project, which is kind of cutting edge. It's got battery storage and is going to make them resilient should there be brownouts and things like that in the community. There was a chamber mixer, the turkey drive, over at the cupboard, and I attended that. I also attended later that evening. Milvet has an office right on Scott Road, and we are assembling care packages for those who are deployed overseas. And I see Jackie over there, and she was working very hard that night. It was great to come and show a little support for that awesome effort. All right. On Friday, the 10th, the Chamber hosted the Patriot Cup, and Councilman Dinas and I attended that. On Saturday, 11th, the city's Veterans Day ceremony at Central Park, and I agree that was just a wonderful event. Later that evening, the VFW 1956 hosted a Veterans Ball. It was over at the Oasis, so I was able to join them for that really nice event there. On Sunday, the 12th, there was a special Veterans honor. It was a ceremony to honor our veterans, and it was hosted by Eagle Ridge Church. Pastor Leonard's had me help him give some honorees, some certificates, and thank them for their years of service protecting and defending our nation. And then there was a very special ceremony in Sun City. It was the View Church. They are expanding their campus, and so they had a groundbreaking ceremony, and so I went to show some support for the good things that are happening at the View Church. On Monday the 13th, there was a higher ed forum at MSJC's campus, and Councilmember Sobek was there, and it was kind of an awareness of the effort to bring a 4-year school. So that is Cal State San Marcos along with MSJC's Temecula campus. It's going to be very expensive, but we are all looking for ways to make that happen. All right, and then yesterday there was a chamber wake-up over at the Rural Center, and I would like to make an announcement that this Saturday at 9:30 a.m. at the Antelope Menifee Rural Center, it's a little building right there on Hahn, is a history program, and it's featuring Chester Morrison, who is a 50-year school board member here in Menifee and early pioneer farmer, and he donated the land for that rural center. So we're going to have a nice PowerPoint slideshow, and members of his family are going to be there. So if you want to know about Chester Morrison, we have a school named after him here in Menifee, and we're going to learn all about who he was and what he did in the 1930s and 40s. All right, any other last-minute items?
I always like listening to your updates to hear the things that I was at that I forgot to mention.
Yes.
So yes, I was also at the economic development ad hoc meeting with you to discuss that, and I was also at the barn dance. That was a fun time. I learned how to do the Cupid shuffle.
That's right.
I learned from watching Jason White. Actually, so.
That is a fun way to raise money for our cupboard. So anyway, all right. If there's no others, we're going to move on. Council members, we're on item 9. This is the approval of minutes from October 4th. I know Councilman Dynas mentioned that he's going to abstain, so I'm going to just ask all in favor of approving those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so that's approved with 4 plus an abstention. And now we're going to move to item 10. This is our consent calendar, and all matters on the consent calendar are to be approved in one motion unless a council member requests a separate action on a specific item on the consent calendar. If an item is removed, it'll be discussed individually and acted upon separately. So with that being read, council members, do we have any requests? Actually, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on our consent calendar items? Did anybody fill out a speaker slip of items 10?
No, we do not.
All right, thank you. Council members, do we have any items that we would like to pull for discussion? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve our consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so Madam Clerk, we'll do electronic voting.
Mayor Pro Tem, was that you that second? Councilman Dynas. Dynas, okay, sorry. Let's get you on there, and then I'll open the vote. There you go.
All right, and I see that that passes unanimously, so we are now going to move to, I see item 11 is public hearing items, but there are none, so we're going to go to our item 12 discussion items. There are 4 of them. We'll start with the first one, and that is our military banner program policy amendment, and I see our management analyst, Mandy Stevens, is at the podium, so welcome, Mandy.
Hi, welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council members. I'm here to give an update to our military banner program policy. Just a little bit of information about the policy. It was established, the program was established in 2012, and the policy was approved back in 2020. These recommendations that I'm suggesting are going to enhance the program while continuing to honor our military service members. So, where's the... Oh. One of our recommendations is to set some parameters. Right now, the policy does not have any set locations, so we want to consolidate the banners to be in designated areas, which would be in the major corridors of our city and represent the 4 council districts. This would include Newport Road, Menifee Road, the Sun City area, which would be McCall Boulevard, Sun City Boulevard, and Cherry Hills Boulevard. Condensing the areas would just help maintain the program and help us manage it better and have everything in the main thoroughfares where it has higher visibility. We also recommend having a commemorative banner that is presented to our participants during either our Memorial Day or Veterans Day ceremonies or upon when the installations happen. This would help enhance our program so that we don't take down the old banners that sometimes are faded and are not in good quality, and then often they can fall down and we don't even get a chance to return to them. So that is one major enhancement that we think would be really nice. The other major update would be to renew the designs of the banners. Right now we have 2 different designs. One is kind of a lighter color, one is a more vibrant color. You can kind of see it in the background of this video. If we do these new designs, they would honor our active and veterans, and then we would have one for people that have passed in the line of duty. And then we also have options where if they don't have a photo to provide, we can do it with the yellow ribbon. So these enhancements we think will continue to make the program better. We can make these enhancements with the current cost of the banner, and nothing would be more for the applicants. So with that, I will take any questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Stevens. Yesterday, Councilman Dynas and I had our meeting with the city manager, and we did, if you don't mind pulling up that the banners again. The sample one, there we go, perfect, thank you. We just kind of had a couple of things we wanted to share. Maybe I'll just say, For the one on the right that is honoring the veteran who lost their life in sacrifice, the difference, one says thank you for serving, the other one says thank you for your sacrifice. And we thought maybe we want to make it a little more noticeable that this is a Gold Star, someone who passed away in the line of duty. It says it down below, but it won't say it on the banner. So can we maybe do something different where the stars might be gold instead of white for the one who lost their life in sacrifice, and maybe change the wording so it's a little different from thank you for, but instead say something like lost in the line of duty or something like that. I don't know, Councilman Dinas, you had some good ideas.
Either paid the ultimate sacrifice or something like that. I'll throw it out there to the veterans out there if that would sound. I get some nods from some of the vets, so I think that would work out great.
Okay.
Because they're small words. You're driving by. You really don't have a time to differentiate a veteran from someone that killed in action. So that'd be my request.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
I had thought of that as well, the Gold Star. So I thought instead of the ribbon being red, it could be gold, but I like the idea of the gold stars.
Good. Before we get too far, do we have any requests to speak on this item, Madam Clerk, or do we have any correspondence on the item?
No, we do not.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion, council members? Okay, feel free.
Hey, good evening.
Hi.
Hey, so my question, I noticed that the city covers half of the cost, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we cover 135 out of the 270. How much does the whole program, that our half of the 135, how much does the city pay annually for that?
Annually. So last fiscal year, we spent almost $10,000.
Okay.
On the, that's the vendor price. So that's the printing, the installation, removal, mailing the banners back to us, cleaning, repairing. That was almost
Everything?
$10,000. Everything, yes.
Okay. And with the new map that we have, do we have an estimate how many poles that is total? And if so, how much, if the city were to cover the entire 270, how much total what kind of fiscal impact would that be?
So just to clarify, the 270 is the cost of the hard purchase of the banner, that what we pay to the vendor, and then calculated in that was also administrative fees and public works. So I'd calculated how much we're spending average with those fees. So the hard cost of the banner to the vendor would be $154. And if we were to do, so the spaces in the proposed locations is 324. So if we were to right now change out half of them, so let's say half of them are faded, need to come down, and we want to change out 162, that would be times by the 154 would be almost, well, more than double what we're paying right now. It would be close to $25,000. And right now we budget $20,000 a year.
Okay. To clarify, you said if we clear out half of them, so if we were to do all of them.
All of them, so we're looking at double that, so almost 50.
Around 50. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Go ahead.
Some questions. Under the definitions under the policy, you have active duty means 12 months of continuous service. I'm curious as where the 12 months came from and the purpose for that.
I would have to look into that to see how that came about. I think it was so that it wasn't like you're in boot camp, like you've done some significant amount of service.
Well, I mean, for the record, if you're in boot camp, if you've sworn in full-time, you're active duty.
Okay. We can make that change.
I hate to have someone that's been in for 11 months and 29 days and not be able to get at one because, they have to wait another day. I mean, these are individuals that, raise the right hand and are willing to sacrifice for the country. So anyone, I would think, that's an active duty should be that way. I think that's why I think the 12 months on both that and the reservists should be
remove that.
Removed.
Okay.
That'd be my request. On the definition of veteran, I kind of understand what you're saying, but I would ask that Title 38 of the United States Code has a definition of what a veteran is.
Okay.
And I can share that with you. That would be nice to put that in there. It's very straightforward and simple. That's anyone who served in active duty and was discharged or released therefrom under conditions other than dishonorable. So that's very straightforward on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, we can definitely change that too.
Moving down, only because what happens, you let me read it for a few days. Under the donations, it's an 8B. You have, if you get donated funds, there's a priority list. And it says the second one is a service member receives special recognition. Let me put my glasses on. Yep, that's it. And what is a special recognition? What would qualify for that?
That I believe is, if they said that they had special recognition, I don't know all the terms, so please forgive me, but like Purple Heart or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. We haven't come into this yet, so I'd have to probably double check that.
Okay. That'd be, I mean, that's something you
Is
look
it something that
into.
you'd want that removed or clarify what?
Probably clarify, you know,
Okay.
if it's, yeah, I would say special recognition would be if anyone had served in combat in country, that would be something that would, I mean, that's just me personally. I don't know what the rest of the council would consider, but someone that served in combat would have priority.
That was a suggestion, I believe, back with post-1956, way back when the policy was
but
made.
it's hard,
So I'm
you
not
mean-
sure what it means.
Some of us feel special sometimes, you know, you know, but it's nice to have that defined. But I mean, I like to see it. That's my own. I'm just doing my personal beliefs on what that could be. Lastly, in the staff report, as well as Exhibit 1, you're talking about everything's called a retired veteran. There are veterans that never retired, but they're still veterans. So,
Okay.
you know, make sure in honor of those that served without spending 20+ years in, it'd be nice if we just say active duty and veterans.
Veterans, okay, got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right, so you had quite a few changes, and I just want to make sure that we have consensus all together that those make sense. We're going to modify the banner text and change those stars to gold for those who've lost their lives, to strike the 12 months from active duty, the veteran definition of what a veteran is, clarify the special recognition, and you also said strike retired from the word veterans and just you're a veteran no matter what.
I didn't see it say that in the policy itself, but I want to make sure it was that phrase was used in both the staff report and Exhibit 1, and I want veterans to know they didn't have to spend 20 years to have to get a banner.
Council members, do we all agree? And
Councilmember Dynas, what about reservists? Are you okay with leaving that in?
Yeah, this is not a veterans banner; it's a military banner.
Oh, okay.
So I think that'd be appropriate.
Yeah, active.
That was one thing that we decided that we would do different as a city, is we would make it for military. It would be a military banner for those currently serving and those who have served. We wanted to make it open. Also for residents who live here or family members of the residents. And I appreciate, Councilmember Dynas, your keen eyes looking in detail into this. I did want to ask, just for clarification, I know we've had an issue with people moving, getting their banners back to them because they do pay for half. It is their banner. So I like the idea, coming up with the little commemorative banner. Would that be something that as soon as they fill out their application and their banner's hung at the next, either Veterans Day or Memorial Day, they would receive that at the city event?
Yeah, so I would check with them when they're doing their application that that's the option. They can
Okay.
have it at one of the events, and working with community services too, or they would get it once they're installed. Either they would ship them to us or they would deliver them that day, and then I'd contact them and make sure they get them.
Okay, that will help, I'm sure, a lot and save a lot of time and energy. I know
Definitely.
you've spent a lot of time trying to find people
Yes.
who those banners belong to. Also, on the what was it? I was going to ask. The cost, that people can donate to the banner program. Do you know the amount that we have in that fund at this time?
I do, and I feel like I didn't put it in my notes. It was, I think, just under $2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if there's someone in need and they want one, they can come in and talk to you. If someone has had a sad experience with losing a loved one, they can come and talk to you as well.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
I just want
Mr. Mayor,
to, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When it comes to presenting any kind of the banners or anything, you said Memorial Day or Veterans Day. I'd ask it not be Memorial Day. Memorial Day is for those who lost their life, not those who are still living. And
Well,
keep it just at the Veterans Day.
A little history there. People used to place orders, and they wait until there's a batch so they can place the order. Sometimes people will place an order and they won't get enough for a batch for several months. And so I understand that staff was having trouble with people getting angry at them. So they decided to do it twice a year, to hang the banners. So they could tell the people placing their orders, it would either be Veterans Day, Memorial Day, placed out 6 months apart. So that was the history.
I understand not necessarily hanging them up on that certain date, but recognizing the veteran who has the commemorative banner. That should be left for Veterans Day only if we do it.
Okay.
So that we won't.
Take away
so
from
that
what the meaning.
so we know that Memorial Day is for those who are lost. We won't forget that.
I agree with that. All right, so.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
One quick question. While we were on analyzing the banner itself, it may be nitpicking, it may not be, but there are 4 stars on the banner, and 4 stars mean you're the highest rank as general. Councilman Dinas, do you think you're okay?
5 stars is the highest. 5 stars are generally, well, I don't know about anyone else, but the Army is general of the Army for 5, so far
It's
is
just
fine.
a decorative issue.
It's
Okay, I don't want to overthink it or overanalyze it, so, okay.
I think it's just
4 is
decorative.
plenty.
Mr. Melching, would it be all right then for the motion maker to just say to approve the amended policy as modified?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to make that motion.
I'll second.
All right. Mandy, thanks for your good presentation and for
Thank you.
shepherding this task.
Thank
I
you.
know it is well received and people really do appreciate it, so.
Appreciate it.
Well
Thank you.
done. All right, I see that passes unanimously. We're going to move on now. We're on our next discussion item. This is item 12.2, Veterans Committee and Resources. And I see Ms. Mitchell at the podium to present the item, so welcome.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Mariana Mitchell, Community Services Manager, here to provide a presentation on some Veterans Committee and resources for your consideration. Prior to moving into this, I wanted to kind of give a brief overview of some of the already existing commissions and committees here in the city of Menifee. We have a number of them that do a number of different functions and that work directly with city staff in various departments. So first off, we have our Planning Commission, which is a 5-member commission, which is authorized to review things like specific land use projects, zoning ordinances, maps, conditional use permits, and variances, in addition to holding hearings and on the general plan and specific plans and zoning maps. So a lot of intricate details happening there. They meet the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock. Next, we have our Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission, which kind of does a number of things regarding the parks, recreation, amenities, and our parks and parkways, open spaces, and trails. Often provides direction to city staff and provide recommendations for city council. And they meet the first Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock. Block. And then we also have our Senior Advisory Committee that works directly with our staff on advising on programs and events, as well as policy pertaining to our senior or 55 and better residents in the city of Menifee. And then we also have our Quality of Life Measure DD Oversight Committee that is actually charged with reviewing and monitoring the use of sales tax proceeds and previous expenditures generated from the 1% district sales tax adopted by the voters in November 2016. They meet at least 3 times a year, and often before the budget process, either mid-year or the fiscal year. So one thing I want to point out, that a number of these commissions do require a substantial amount of staff time when it comes to organizing and implementing these meetings. As these meetings are public meetings, they are conditioned to follow the Brown Act, require public posting, minutes and things of that nature. And for these specific commissions and committees, the Planning Commission as well. Oh, I'm sorry, I believe I missed one. The Menifee Citizens Advisory Committee, MCAG. They meet at least 3 times a year, and they directly oversee things related to the Community Development Block Grant Program and reviewing applications, making funding recommendations to City Council. So I'm sorry, apologize for that oversight. But with that, the Planning Commission as well as the Menifee Citizens Advisory Committee are directly overseen by staff in the Community Development Department, whereas the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission, as well as the Senior Advisory Committee, are directly overseen by the Community Services Department, and the Quality of Life Measure DD Oversight Committee is directly overseen by the City Executive Office and Finance Department. So,
Ms. Mitchell, before you move on,
yes,
just to clarify, are all of these Brown Act committees, or just the commissions are?
I want to say, I don't know if all of them are. I know for sure the commissions as well as the Senior Advisory Committee, we do, that is by the Brown Act. I don't know if we can clarify on the Measure DD and the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Okay, I was just curious. I think, because I think what's being proposed is a committee, but I wasn't sure if it was going to need to be a Brown Act committee. But go ahead and proceed ahead.
Okay.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
It will be.
It will be,
Yeah.
okay.
Any committee that is comprised of more than 2 members of the city council and that has an ongoing task, not a discrete task, is required to comply with the Brown Act.
Okay, so something like the Senior Advisory Committee, there's no council members on that at all. Are they a Brown Act committee?
They are,
Yes, they are.
absolutely.
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
So there are some general requirements in order for our residents to participate on these commissions and committees, things like regular attendance, being a Menifee resident, being a registered voter, also required to take an oath of allegiance, are required to agree to the ethics code of conduct, various trainings so that our residents are prepared to make the decisions that our committee, our council, and our staff are requiring of them. Some of the more specific requirements are considering for the Planning and the Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission. These are City Council appointed. It is a 5-member commission, each one of those, tied to the council member terms. These are at large, meaning that they don't have to reside in the specific district. They are required to file a Form 700 and attend the anti-harassment training because some of the recommendations that they make may pertain to funding related to budget and also working directly with our city staff. Our Senior Advisory Committee is a council-appointed position, 2-year term. There's an age requirement for this, 55 years or better, and there is a mayor at-large appointment as well as the member has to be living in their specific district. Similar terms for the Quality of Life Measure DD, the Oversight Committee. This is a council-appointed position, 2-year term, same thing at large with a member living in the district. And this one also requires to file Form 700 because of the issues related to finance. And then last but not least, our Menifee Citizens Advisory Committee, which is a little different than all of these because these are comprised of members of our Planning, Parks, Recreation, and Trails Commission, and Senior Advisory Committee. So there's 6 members, 2 members from each one of these commissions or committee, and they serve a 2-year term. So with that, I want to kind of go into a little bit about our current veterans group interactions. As you know, the City of Menifee is very proud about our veteran and military families. We are supportive in a number of our programs and events. So we often do have a call for assistance to our local veteran groups to help us with planning our events and programs, such as the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans Day, our Memorial Day ceremony, and our Veterans Day ceremony. So a number of these groups are also regularly attendees of our bi-monthly committee partners meeting. And then we also run into a lot of the same participants in the Riverside County Veterans Committee meetings, which happen on a regular basis. So during these interactions in preparation for these upcoming events, staff had informally surveyed some of the interests of the participating people in our committees. And some of the feedback that we received is that although there's appreciative of the overwhelming support that City Council, City staff have for our veterans groups, there are some areas of concern regarding when it comes to time commitment. A number of our volunteers that participate in our local organizations are volunteering their time. They're dedicated to their own groups, and they also often cross over into other nonprofit organizations and groups. So you'll see a lot of familiar faces at a number of our events. Also, there's a little bit of concern about the duplication of efforts, whether or not we'd be stepping on toes by working with different organizations. So really wanted to be cautious of that. And then whether or not with an appointed committee, there might be fair representation. Because although we do have support from our various veterans group, there also are programs for families of military, for people associated with veterans in general. So we want to make sure that we are able to represent everybody fairly. So for your consideration, we have some options, and one of those would be looking at the possibility to establish an annual Veterans Summit Committee. And this is mostly because we did an informal survey, but we can organize something similar to the Education Summit, bring forward all of our nonprofit organizations, our veterans and military groups, bring them together to share information, build that network of support and partnerships, having two members of our city council be a part of this committee, similar to Education Summit, and then from there kind of decide what the content and frequency can be, or if there is any additional need to take another look at what this could look like. Also in our conversations, we had talked about the necessary resources. At one point in time, there were a number of resources available, the Case and Sarah Senior Center. We want to bring that back by hosting monthly workshops starting in January 2024. So at this time, this concludes my report, and if there's any other questions or discussion, open up for that.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mitchell. First, we'll do questions, and then we'll take some public comments if there are any, and then we'll open up for discussion. So, council members, do we have any questions at this time? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have one. I know that we used to have a Veterans Committee. Why don't we anymore? Why was it ended?
It was something that I believe the last time it was established in 2019, if I remember correctly, and once COVID hit, we just weren't getting the participation. It wasn't something that was brought forward as a need, and because we had regular interactions with a number of the people that were serving on that committee, and I don't believe it was a formal committee either. It was a group of individuals coming forward to kind of help plan and organize veterans programs.
So we didn't actually have a city committee?
No.
I think our deputy city manager may be able to answer that. He was part of that.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Councilmember Carmen. Yes, I think Councilmember Sobek even remembers that there was an informal committee comprised of all these groups that started even
2010.
Yeah, further back, and as Councilmember Sobek mentioned, they helped with the formation of the banner program and helped with events, and we kind of revitalized it again in 2019 to try to get more of the groups together. But as Ms. Mitchell mentioned, it kind of tapered off with the participation. So a lot of the feedback that we're seeing here is that concern if they can really commit to the time, because again, they're volunteers, they're helping out with their specific veterans groups. They're you'll see many people that are part of several veterans groups already or in other nonprofits. So that was part of the concern. Can they commit to if it's a monthly meeting or a bi-monthly meeting, that kind of thing. But it was an informal group previously.
If you don't mind me adding, the first Veterans Committee kind of disbanded because of exactly what you just said. Just that the time, the commitment, some of them, the age of the veterans that were on the committee, and then they got more, as the city grew, the VFW became more prominent. So a lot of them were members of that, and it kind of just fizzled.
Any other questions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
No, we do not.
How about correspondence received?
None.
Okay, council members, we'll open it up for discussion. I think this is something that was championed and introduced and requested by Councilman Dynas, so I think we should yield to him to share a little bit more about what he is hoping for us to be able to accomplish.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not too sure where to start. I feel like a mosquito in a nudist camp. I'm not sure where to start. First of all, this is, I guess I'm disappointed in the direction staff took this, because if you go back and listen to the future agenda item request, it was to set up a committee that resembled the Senior Advisory Committee, one that advises the city, not nonprofits. And for that, it's the life of me why city staff went down the path of the previous committee structure that was flat out failure for a number of reasons. The intent, and based on, because I gave staff a 2-page handout of what some of the responsibilities that a committee could have. None of them are in here. This doesn't even talk anything about the potential or the benefit or the non-benefits or that would come with a Veterans Advisory Committee. That wasn't even part of the discussion in the staff report. So I'm a little disappointed. I would prefer to see this continue to a future agenda item and come back with what a real Veterans Advisory Committee that would resemble what a Senior Advisory Committee would look like. Let me phrase this carefully. Sometimes military sayings and jargon kind of slips in, and I got to be careful here because when the vets know what I'm talking about.
The mosquito joke?
You know, I would like to see that. You know, it may. All I want is to have it aired out. Would this be a committee that would benefit the city council? Some of the things would be like, you know, we're very fortunate to have Senator Cierto as our senator because he has championed many bills that have been passed that benefit veterans. It would be nice if we had a committee that would get involved, learn about it, and then make recommendations to this council to support that kind of legislation. We support or we oppose all kinds of stuff, but nothing for our veterans when it comes to those kind of bills. So little things like that. And if staff comes back saying this is what it looked like, and and we say, well, we don't think veterans need that, or we don't need that as a council, so be it. But we at least need to have the information here to have that educated discussion on it. So that would be my preference.
I want to ask a question that I already asked, and so I apologize for that. But Mr. Melching, is there a way for us to have a committee that's accomplishing what Councilman Dynas is saying that isn't a high barrier thing with so much staff time, coordination, meeting minutes and notices and Brown Act things? Are we able to do it a little easier or not? I mean, once we make this commitment, it's all the way or none, right?
It really is, Mayor. I mean, I'd love to have a solution for you, but this is straight out of the League of Cities handbook. Appointed bodies, which is what this would be, whether permanent or temporary, decision-making or advisory, including Planning Commission, Civil Service Commission, and other subsidiary committees, boards and bodies, volunteer groups, executive search committees, task forces, blue ribbon committees created by any of those, created by formal action of a governing body, which is you, are legislative bodies. That means they're subject to the Brown Act.
Okay. All right. That answers the question. I'm always hopeful, but Never successful. All right, Mayor Pro Tem Carwin.
I was listening to what Councilman Dynas said and some of the, I was interested in why that other one disbanded because I heard other things before that maybe there was acrimony and it wasn't being effective in moving forward. I'm glad I had that explanation. One of the, you're talking about ways to take advantage of the feedback from the veterans in our community without making it so bureaucratic. What about something like an MOU with the VFW? So we would support them in their efforts, and they would just come and report to us, because Commander Cano does an amazing job of outreach to the veterans, and they're kind of already doing that without the formality of the city involvement. If we were to support them with some sort of MOU and have them be able to come to us once a quarter and present to us the issues, something like that, what about that, Councilman Dynas?
If that's what the council wants, but quite frankly, I can make the argument, why don't we do something like that with the Senior Advisory Committee then? If we're spending, we're doing the same thing with the Senior Advisory Committee. Not that they're bad, not that I'm against it, but certainly, I don't know, maybe that's all we want to give our vets. I don't know.
Well, I think the difference...
But the biggest difference, my request was simply to come back with what a structure of a Veterans Advisory Committee would look like and give us that opportunity to have that discussion. We're discussing something right now that we have not been presented at all, and we're just making stuff up as we talk, and we're trying to decide on something without staff input on what it would look like, what it would cost, whatever, you know. And so I'm a little disappointed in that we're not having an educated conversation about it.
I don't have any problem at all with continuing this matter to address the issues that you raised. I think your points are valid. I was just more trying to add to the conversation for things to include in a more in-depth report to include those items. I think the big difference between what my suggestion was right there and the Senior Advisory Committee is that the VFW is already a vibrant, existing organization that does exactly that, whereas Senior Advisory, there's so many different factions of seniors in our community that bringing them together under there isn't a senior, you know, there isn't one that brings everything together under one auspice like the VFW does. And I know that doesn't include everybody, the VFW doesn't, but at least that organization exists, and maybe we could start there and build on it. I'm not saying that we should say that tonight, by no means, but I'd like maybe that to be in the mix of the discussions of possibilities, see if it's a hybrid in between. But I agree with your suggestion entirely that since it was your item that you brought, and this isn't the answer that you were envisioning, that we send them back with a little bit more instruction to come back with more direction.
And I think that is what
Thank
the
you. I
task is.
appreciate that.
Yeah, we're not going to vote on anything tonight, but it's more, tonight we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing, and that's coming to some consensus and then asking staff to bring something back. Councilmember Sobek has been very patient.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't mind continuing this, but I also have a thought. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about strategically who Menifee is and creating that. And I'm hoping we're not putting the cart before the horse, because I think we have an opportunity to be a hometown of heroes. And if we are, and that's the direction we want to go, which we've talked about it on and off, nothing official, that at that point, if that was part of who we want to be as Menifee, I would say definitely we would need a Veterans Committee. I would say that. So I would like to continue this discussion, and I don't mind taking the direction that you want to go, Councilmember.
All right, so I think out of respect for Councilman Dynas, being the one who seems to know the most about these issues, I would like to just see staff maybe sit down, have a meeting with Councilman Dynas, and let him just kind of give you a framework, and then bring that back to all of us and present it as this is kind of something to consider. We don't necessarily have to do it, but I think that would probably get us closer to the finish line. So are you okay with that, Dean? All right.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. It's not, we have to do this, but we have to have an educated conversation about it. And that's what would be helpful if we had that kind of staff report in front of us to have that discussion.
I agree with that, and you can help bring the meat and potatoes to this whole thing. I think what we saw in the staff report was a lot of reasons why it's probably not a good idea, but I think we should be looking for reasons why and how we can do a good job. What is all this junk?
I just had an M&M explode in my hand and it went everywhere.
Peanuts everywhere. All right, so I think we're good. All right, thank you, everybody. Let's move on now. We are on item 12.13. This is the MOU with Paris Union High School District for a 2024 Summer Aquatics Program. I believe Ms. Mitchell is staying at the podium. All right, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to you to present.
Good evening. Yes, this is exciting news. So tonight we're going to be discussing a potential memorandum of understanding with Paris Union High School District for a 2024 Summer Aquatics Program. So want to make sure that everybody understands when it comes to aquatics, we heard that loud and clear when we completed our Parks Master Plan update, that Menifee is relatively warm in the summer, that might be putting it nicely, and that we are looking for relief. And so with that, we're looking at our aquatics programs and trying to take a multi-pronged approach by looking at our new and existing facilities and amenities that are coming in through our park development program. Those of you that may know, Banner Village Park is our very first park with a splash pad. We're excited to be able to incorporate that. Weather's a little cool now, so it's going to be closed down for the winter, but it will reopen in the spring. And then we're also looking at incorporating future designs, additional amenities like splash pads, future aquatics facilities where available, and kind of looking to the future on that. Additionally, we're also looking at how can we leverage some of our existing facilities. So we all know the drop zone is right outside Menifee on the Menifee-Paris borderline, but I don't know if all of our residents are aware that this is an amenity available to them. So again, looking at that as an opportunity to outreach and market the drop zone and their amenities to Menifee residents. We're currently working with the drop zone management company to kind of look at it, see if we can promote a Menifee days, if we can sell passes at our locations to make it more accessible to Menifee residents, and hoping to also bring that into summer 2024. Last but not least is about partnerships. Menifee is all about partnerships and leveraging organizations to create additional programming for our residents. So we've been kind of behind the scenes working with Paris Union High School District as soon as they cut that ribbon to look at what a possible MOU might look like and how we can potentially bring in some additional aquatics programming for our residents. So with that, here are some of the highlighted points. The MOU is a rather lengthy document, but some of the high-level points are that Paris Union High School District will provide the use of Paloma Valley High School. We're looking at just one pool to get started, get our feet wet, and then also some potential expansion to other schools as available or however the city decides to proceed with that. They are charging us a very nominal fee of $15 per hour for facility use. That fee will be evaluated on an annual basis based on what the maintenance looks like for them. They will maintain, repair, and clean the aquatic facility, which includes the large pool, locker rooms for men and women, an office area for staff to take registration, things of that nature. And the current MOU has an initial term of through June 30th, 2026. There's some language in there that if we wanted to expand, we could do so without having to amend the MOU. So again, there's some flexibility in there. And then with that, the city will implement aquatic programs for Menifee residents. So we are looking to align ourselves with Paris Union High School District hiring practices. These programs do require certification, lifeguard, water safety instructor certifications. All of our staff are drug and alcohol screened, TB test, background check, which is the fingerprinting. So again, that's just the safety precautions because these are technically youth programs happening on our school campuses. So with that, we have a proposed summer schedule, and this is based on the availability. So essentially, Paris Union High School District, Paloma Valley, and their school has dibs on the schedule. So they're pretty much going to be utilizing the pool during the summer season until about 11 a.m. So we have opted to look at some options for recreation swim, which is generally open swim, and then also our Learn to Swim program. So a number of our residents have the opportunity to practice water safety and really kind kind of hone in on some of those skills. So we're looking for our summer season to potentially be from June 17th to the end of July. And then with the various program of either the recreational swim or learn to swim, we have several session options. Essentially, these proposed service levels could reach between 100 and 150 residents daily in the recreation swim and 100 and 200 youth daily in our learn to swim lessons. So potentially through the summer 2024, we have the potential to serve over 4,000 residents in these programs. So it's really exciting news considering that, again, we'll be sharing the pool use with the school district, but being able to offer our very first summer aquatic program. So the proposed budget, as you can see, is outlined into 2 years because summer programs typically span fiscal years. So the year one would be the implementation of our programming, which would be part of it is the hard part about aquatics programming is recruitment. And so oftentimes our recruitment and training start in the winter. So we're looking at potentially January 2024, where we would start reaching out to our local schools, our lifeguards. We can hire as young as 15 years of age, as long as they have the appropriate certificates. So again, looking to hire some of our some of our youth for our summer programs. And then also because of the fact that recruitment requires these certificates and classes, we want to make sure that we're able to recruit all of the necessary lifeguards to service as many youth as possible this summer. So again, the proposal is based on 2 years, so 2 fiscal years, and at one pool location. And currently we're looking at this to be funded through the general fund, but of course staff will always be on the lookout for additional grants or sponsorships to be able to offset some of these costs. The majority of the expenditures you're going to see are in personnel because that's going to be our lifeguards, which we're looking at potentially 15 lifeguards, our water and safety instructors, which are the individuals that actually teach the swim lessons, and our pool managers who will oversee and supervise the seasonal part-time staff. Some of the projected revenue, we kind of based it conservatively based on 75% capacity of the pool, but we look to see that continue to increase as the program gains momentum throughout the summer and hopefully in future years. Our proposed timeline right now is that if it is approved, or depending on the conversation, we could always bring back the MOU on December 6th. Paris Union High School District has their next board meeting on the 13th. A little bit tight on the timeline, but again, this is because we want to be able to establish this program, begin recruiting in the winter in January 2024. So I believe at this point, this concludes my presentation. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mariana. Just to begin with the end in mind, we're not approving anything tonight. We're just giving feedback to you on what we were presented and also ask you to bring back a formal proposal maybe December 6th. So,
if that's council's prerogative.
All right, very good. Councilmember Sobek, you have a question?
Yes. First of all, I know this is the #1 request when it comes to recreation facilities for our residents, so I'm happy to see this. By any chance, right now, the cost seems very minimal. By any chance, did you do, and I wish you would have had it here, a comparison if eventually the city was to have its own facility, what that cost would be, and then how many years would it take for us renting a facility take us to get to that point?
So there is some preliminary information that was provided in the staff report as far as like the maintenance of a pool, and I believe it's somewhere between like $125,000 to $300,000 depending upon the pool size and equipment.
To build it?
No, to maintain the pool, not to build it.
So that's what I would like to know. When maybe you could bring that back, because it's a question I have, is what would the cost be if the city built their own pool, maintained it, and how many years would it take us to get to that point as we rent each year?
For off the top of my head, based on a recent interaction with somebody who recently built an aquatic facility in Northern California, I think it was the city of Burlingame, recently built one that cost $29 million.
$29 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I understand it's Northern California.
It says $23 to $35 million for a facility in the staff report.
Do we know how much the school paid to build it?
I don't have that information, but I I'm sure we could find out.
So I
It's
just,
public information.
So thank you for that, and I would like to give my opinion to bring this back for the formal MOU.
All right, any other questions? I see Councilman Dynas is in the queue.
Are we doing questions only?
Questions at this point.
Okay. Can
But-
it be rhetorical or not?
Well, let me, so just wait. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
No, we do not.
Do we get any correspondence?
No.
All
we
right,
did
so
not.
with that, Dean, we can have
That-
questions or comments.
Doesn't have to be rhetorical.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I think this is a great idea. I want to thank the school district for being, I know I've talked to the superintendent on this before, and he was anxious for it as well. It's an asset to the city to have that at the school, so I'm very excited about that. And one of the things that, having been with the county where we built our own water parks type of things, it is very expensive, and the costs keep going up to maintain it. So this will serve our residents while we look more into doing one for ourselves. So instead of waiting many years to try to save up $23 to $35 million before we can offer this recreational program, we can do it now. So that's the exciting part about it. My question is on the times. I had a couple of things here. That the open swim would only be for 2 hours, and then the rest of the time, I mean, you have about almost 4 or 5 hours of swim lessons. To me, that seems a little lopsided. You know, that's a pretty big pool. It's an Olympic-sized pool. It would be nice to be able to do swimming in one side, or you know, open swimming, and then do lessons. It'd be nice, you know, by 3 o'clock it's not cold by then. You know, we still have plenty of opportunity to swim there.
Yeah, this would be a preliminary schedule, but we would have the capacity to make adjustments as needed based on registration and past experiences. Swim lessons tend to be really popular with residents, and we want to be able to, again, thinking about water safety and making sure that our youth are equipped with learning how to swim. But if there's a bigger need, we could definitely reassess. We initially thought recreation swim during the hottest part of the day might be beneficial, which is why it's earlier. But we can definitely reassess as registration takes place.
I mean, I don't know about the rest of the council, but I like to see longer open swim time if at all possible.
Councilmember Dynas, with this being the first year, I don't know how we would know what the turnout will be, and I think we have to start somewhere, and I think we need to either question, survey, send out, I don't know, maybe at the recreation center, I don't know, but I agree with you. I think we need to kind of adjust that. I looked at it too, the recreation swim time, but we don't know who's going to turn out. We don't know what it's going to be like. So I think we need to be willing to adjust and make those adjustments.
I think one of the benefits of doing this as a city program is that we will have the ability to make adjustments where needed.
Right, but as you know, as a family, if you don't get that right at 1 o'clock, you're not going to get much swimming time in if you can't make it to 2. But if it goes longer, you have more opportunity, because if you can't get there to 2:30, why go? Then you can't take advantage of something your taxes are paying for. That's my only thing. But we'll handle that. The other thing I have is the fee for open swimming. That's only $3 for a non-resident. These are residents' tax dollars that's going into this, and being only charged $1 more for non-residents. I hate to see, because it is so cheap, to have a lot of non-residents come in and take up space that should be prioritized for our residents. So I think it needs to be higher than that. I mean, I don't know what.
It's $7 a session at the Menifee Lakes, country at the Menifee Lakes pool
There we go.
for non-residents.
So I mean, I think that would.
I agree.
It would help pay for the program, and then would make sure our residents had priority to get into that.
Agreed. Mayor Pro Tem Carwin?
Thank you. I know that we're going to be making a lot of adjustments to the schedule as we see usage evolve. I would like to maybe keep in mind something about like an adults only time zone, because I can imagine with the nature of this pool, we're probably going to see a lot of seniors who want to do lap swimming, that kind of thing, and it would be highly disruptive to have a mix at that time. And I don't want to say, like adults only from 1 to 2 and then free swim from 2 to 3. That's ridiculous. But either splitting a zone or something like that, so there's a place where unfettered lap swimming can occur without having to take lessons. I think that would be appreciated by the seniors who don't live in a community that have a pool to come down and use it.
Councilman Estrada?
Yeah, I definitely want to increase that non-resident fee. I don't want to be subsidizing non-residents, and so I think the tax dollars should benefit our residents primarily. And if you can look into maybe a season pass or a season package, residents, they're going to envision, oh, I'm going to come 10, 20 times, and maybe they only show up 5 or whatever, but that could help the city recoup some money and also give them some options.
Go ahead, Bob.
Councilman Estrada is always looking for ways for the city to increase revenue from the projects. Is there an opportunity for vendors or something like that? You can have a snack stand or a food stand or a Menifee merch stand out there to sell T-shirts and beach towels?
Unfortunately, at this time, there isn't. Part of the MOU is that there's no third-party contractors or vendors participating in our program.
But we couldn't do it ourselves?
I don't know. We can. I'd have to look into that.
Selling bottles of water or something like that for people who are sitting out, like if parents are out. I've had kids who are in swim lessons sit out there for a long time. It'd be nice to go over and get a bottle of water or a bottle of Gatorade or something like that. And it would be an opportunity for us to nickels and dimes bring something in without having to increase taxes.
Yeah, we could definitely look into that.
Or those that forget their suntan lotion?
All right, Ms. Mitchell, please do bring back a formal proposal for us on December 6th if you're able for us to approve. And I'm very pleased to see this moving forward, and also that you mentioned that you're going to be helping to let people be aware of the drop zone too, because here's this facility that's already right there and it's 100 feet from our city's border. I mean, it's ours. So thank you for that. All right, we're going to move on now, council members. We're on item 12.4. This is our final discussion item, and this is the agreement with the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce for Economic Development Jobs Now Initiative and sponsorship. And I see Ms. Gonzalez is coming to the podium. Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor, council members, esteemed guests. Gina Gonzalez, Economic Development Director, here to report on 12.4, our Menifee Jobs Now Initiative. Just a moment. So, Menifee continues to experience high growth. Most recently, now according to the Department of Finance, we're 110,000 people. Menifee now is the fastest growing city in Southwest Riverside County. We have one of the largest populations, both in population and size out here. We're also the 4th fastest growing in the state and 9th in the nation. With the current business climate, market demand, planned office and industrial development, and updated development code, the city is in a better position to continue to attract business and industry despite rising interest rates and land costs. The city has over 12 million square feet of industrial development, over 55,000 square feet of dedicated office space in the process, and might I add, more coming. Recently, we've completed our Southern Gateway Innovation District request for proposal, or RFP process, with community development, aimed at growing technology, advanced manufacturing, and research and development within the city, while working with national site selectors for job creation. With Menifee's Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, our CEDS, and our Jobs Blueprint Master Plan, both the city and the chamber have a desire to work in collaboration to enhance job creation and foster targeted industry growth. In addition to the rapid population growth, the city's made strides in job creation, which is traditionally a slow process. Growing jobs locally between 2020 and 2023 at a rate of 4.1%, or about 1.36% annually. 1.5%, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, is considered very high for job creation in a local community. Menifee's job growth is projected to surpass the prior 3 years and grow at a rate of 5.5%, or about 3,200 additional jobs between 2023 and 2026. This will shift Menifee's job creation from 1.36% to 1.83% annually, which is well over the targeted goal of 1.5%. Now, there's two frames of thoughts in economic development, what we consider hunting and one is gardening. Hunting is our new business attraction efforts, new development attraction efforts. And on one arm, we have our EDC, which is our regional arm, which is led by Connie Stouffer, and we were part of that process in bringing her on. And they assist us right now with site selection, foreign direct investment, regional economic development efforts. In fact, she's in Taiwan representing us right now, talking to businesses that we've cultivated together. On the other hand, we have gardening, which is our business expansion and retention efforts, which is also seen as our Chamber of Commerce, where they assist businesses with marketing, equipment, resources, and promotion. And what most people don't realize is that approximately 70% of job creation comes from gardening efforts, demonstrating the importance of business expansion and retention, not only in Menifee and the region, but the expansion of targeted industries within the city. It requires an investment in both types of economic development, both hunting and gardening. So before you tonight is the proposed agreement, what we are coining as our Menifee Now Jobs Initiative. And with that, through Exhibit A that everybody has been aware of, there is a list of stated tasks and sponsorships within it to assist in an aggressive job creation strategy. This proposal, unlike years past, there's no Exhibit B, which was a community services department tasked item. It's only inquiring Exhibit A. The Jobs Initiative is to really grow that 1.36% to 1.83% in job creation. Of the proposed agreement, there would be a designated position on the Chamber Board of Directors. There's a staff role in the recruitment and selection of the new executive director. Chamber would also provide a sustainability plan by the end of the agreement term to have long sustainability to sustain the Chamber and the growth. There are two termination clauses I like to point out. There's one with a 30-day advance notification, and there's also a termination clause at the end of each annual renewal. There's a requirement of monthly or quarterly reporting back on the progress of the completion of those tasks that are within Exhibit A. And the payments are divided with evenly among 12 months. And the overall term is a 3-year term for $100,000 annually for an aggregate total, utilizing ARPA funding. Just in comparison with surrounding areas, currently, Temecula executed an agreement with performance measures similar to ours, including sponsorships. That was executed this year at $200,000 per year for 5 years for a total commitment of $1 million. Marietta currently runs an incubator of $30,000 annually and receives subsidized rent. In addition, the city is currently also exploring ways to support Explore Marietta to subsidize their nonprofit arm of their chamber. And then Lake Elsinore receives $150,000 annually with no performance measures or sponsorships and is included in their budget annually with no interim. So before you tonight is recommended action to approve and authorize the city manager to execute the Jobs Now initiative for a period of 3 years in the amount not to exceed $300,000, to adopt the budget amendment resolution appropriating $58,000 in revenues and expenditures for the Jobs Now initiative, and also approve the allocation of $100,000 in ARPA funding for the Menifee Jobs Now initiative. And tonight I'd also like to bring up that I am joined by our chair, Mr. John Parente with the Chamber of Commerce, also available to assist with any questions that the council may have tonight. So with that, I'll entertain questions.
All right, very good. Thank you, Gina. Council members, what we're going to do is questions first, and then we'll hear some public comments, and then we can open up for discussion. So do we have any questions for staff? Mayor Pro Tem Carwin's first.
Thank you, Director. I saw the slide where you were comparing all the harumph that came up on the slide for the budgets that go to Temecula, Marietta, and Lake Elsinore. Of those three cities, do they have a position like yours in the city government of an economic development director? I'm understanding that Lake Elsinore does not.
So they currently actually just created a economic development arm, and we do work with David that is in community development, and one of the goals from their council is to extend that and have a standalone department like ourselves and to become more aggressive. But While Mr. Cousins does take a formal position with economic development, they do have dedicated staff in economic development as well.
So when they're doing this $150,000 annually with no performance measures, they don't have an economic development director also, do they?
They do. Their assistant city manager takes that role, but they have David, and forgive me, I don't know his last name, I just met him, but he actually it's a formal position for economic development, and he does oversee the efforts in the city.
I see, thanks.
Correct.
Go ahead.
This may be for Ms. Gonzalez or Mr. Peranti. It's a 3-year agreement. Do you envision it being 3 years and you're good on your own, or is this something in perpetuity the chamber envisions? What's going on?
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. So I think what's important to articulate around this relationship is the idea of the jobs creation. The chamber recently went through some significant renovations around this whole notion. We did the same research on looking at other chambers. We went all the way down to Vista and all the way up to Chino Hills. We took a look at the National Chamber Society to understand the impact that chambers will have and could have, and the relationships that they could have with the city that looks different and unique from perhaps what you've all experienced in the past. We recognize in this region, the competitor chambers have indeed done all of this homework and are moving in that direction. The relationship each of them have are the ones that we want to mirror, because we see that Menifee, beyond growing just rooftops and population, really has the potential to grow in its business acumen and really develop not just the small businesses and the retail businesses, but that commercial business, and be a regional draw for assets that we view kind of regionally, things like Pachanga and the wineries, really that don't belong to Temecula, they belong to the region. And as we foster those relationships, we understand that through that, we can get there. So having this 3-year term starts us with getting that president, that executive director in place who can do and function in all the ways that Kim Cousins, Patrick Ellis, and Brooke Nunn participate in with the city, and they have a very close relationship. We are honored to have the relationship we have. Now we have many of our board members here, many of our ambassadors who have great relationships with you and businesses in the community. So we're looking for that long-term relationship. This 3 years gets us started, and it gives that president that opportunity then to look at and answer your question.
Other questions, council members? Gina, I did see on one of those task items, there was reporting, and I think it was quarterly. Is that in the form of written report, or is that a presentation at the podium? How will that reporting be?
What is excuse me, the way that it was designed was to be a physical written report that was submitted to the department for review, and to have dialogue with the chamber and the actual staff on each of those task items.
And it'd be great if we can do both, because I like it when John comes and gives us an update about what's happening with the chamber and the future events and all those kinds of things. So.
And that's one of the things that we discussed as a partnership about them coming and giving monthly updates to the council.
Okay, good. Any other questions, council members? Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
No, we do not.
All right, and any correspondence received on this item?
There are some speakers, I believe.
I apologize.
Okay.
Yes, there are several. Felipe Lerida was up first.
Welcome, Felipe.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. My name is Felipe Lerida. I'm the owner of American Pro Carpet Cleaning. I'm a state certified disabled veteran-owned business. And I joined the chamber day one of my business because I knew it would help me. I was new to the city. I moved from Lake Elsinore, and I knew I was going to need some help, and that's exactly what I've received from this chamber. As a small business with limited resources, we have found our chamber membership to be quite valuable. The chamber's networking events and meetings give us a chance to connect with local businesses and organizations like Milvet, amongst others, that we might normally not interact with on daily activities. Since we've joined with Menifee Chamber, we've made several beneficial contacts that have turned into business opportunities for us. The chamber staff is very welcoming, responsive, and helpful with any assistance that we may need. They truly understand the dynamics of not only the business sector, but also the service sector of Menifee. I'm very proud of my chamber, and for that reason, I became an ambassador with them. And they're very supportive, and I really do recommend that you guys do business with them. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Larita. Next speaker, please.
Jackie Aponte, followed by Karen Nolan.
All right, welcome, Ms. Aponte.
Sorry, I'm scared of speaking, so bear with me. Mine's gonna be a little different. It's gonna seem like I'm all over the place, and some will be personal. But I wanted to say why I think the chamber is important. It's not only important just for businesses. A lot of you guys know me from Milvet, and I am part of the chamber for Milvet. I also sell Scentsy. But going to these different chamber events, I not only meet people to help with Milvet. Like, just for an example, I have 2 special needs children. And right now, one's in Paloma, and it's very hard. And just at the golf tournament on Friday, I met Kirk from the Paris Union District, and now he's personally going to help me get more help for my son. And that was from a chamber event. And I'm also a Cub Master of a Cub Scout pack here in Menifee. I've made connections with that have helped people with the city. You know, we've done flag ceremonies. We've helped some businesses retire flags that have been, they're ready to be retired. So it's not just like businesses on the street and in shopping centers. It helps people personally. I've also ran a mobile home repair company here for the last 20 years. And I've met some seniors at these events that I've actually helped them get their house fixed. So it's being, so I also became an ambassador. I think the chamber just doesn't help just businesses in the city. I believe it helps its residents in ways also, both personally and in business. So I think the chamber is important, and I think working together with the city will help a lot of people. That's all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Aponte. Ms. Nolan's next.
Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, esteemed mayor, and the community members, I stand before you today to address a matter of great importance to the economic vitality and growth of our beloved city, the future of the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce. The chamber in its current state is an invaluable asset to our local businesses, fostering an environment of collaboration and prosperity. Today, I implore you to consider the significance of supporting the chamber's independence and existence through the proposal financial agreement. My name is Karen Nolan, and I have had the honor of serving our community in various capacities over the years, including my role as a director and a past president of the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce. I currently own and operate a business here in Menifee, and I have survived and thrived these last 12 years. My journey has been one of deep involvement in the local business landscape, and I have witnessed firsthand the positive impact that a strong alliance between the City of Menifee and the Chamber of Commerce has had on our community economic health. During my tenure as a chamber director and president, I have come to appreciate the intricate web of connections that tie together local businesses, the chamber, the city, and its elected officials. This interdependence is not just about dollars and cents. It's about fostering an environment where businesses can thrive, become better business leaders, thus creating more jobs and contributing to the overall well-being of our community. One of the key advantages of a close financial relationship between the chamber and the city is the enhanced accessibility it provides to local businesses to engage with our city's decision makers. A direct line of communication between the business community and our elected representatives ensures that the concerns and aspirations of the entrepreneurs are not only heard, but they're considered when shaping the policies that impact our local economy. From my vantage point, it is evident that a healthy business relationship between the Chamber and the city is not only desirable, but is also expected by many of the community members. The synergy between these two entities is perceived as a cornerstone for a thriving local economy, and I firmly believe that investing in this relationship will yield dividends for both business owners and the residents of Menifee for years to come. So in conclusion, I urge the City Council to consider strengthening its financial ties with the Chamber of Commerce. By doing so, we can fortify the foundation of our local business, create a more vibrant community, and ensure that our city continues to be a place where business not only thrives, but survives. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I look forward to witnessing a positive impact and a strengthened partnership between the City of Menifee and the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce, and that we'll have on our beloved community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Nolan. We appreciate you coming. Next two speakers, please.
Next up is Jason White, followed by Vicky Carpenter.
Perfect, thank you. Welcome, Mr. White.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, thank you so much for having me tonight. Esteemed members of the community, you know, I'm a member of the Chamber, and I love being a part of the Chamber. I started my company in 2018, and the Chamber has not only just helped my business, but it's given me opportunity to serve in my community. But before I get off script here, I wanna read what I got. I stand before you today as a proud member of the Menifee business community. I'm here to express my sincere gratitude for the consideration of our MOU between the city and the Menifee Chamber. As a small business owner, I firmly believe that the partnership is not just beneficial, but crucial to the growth and success of enterprises like mine that have quality jobs to offer and always need high quality workers. This will help my business succeed. First and foremost, a collaborative effort between the city and the Chamber of Commerce serves as a powerful catalyst for economic development, and today will mark a new beginning, something different than what we had before. It's going to be new and effective for all the parties to grow and excel, attracting both large and small businesses to Menifee for years to come. According to a study conducted by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, cities that actively engage in partnerships with local chambers of commerce experience higher job growth and increased economic activity. This is not just a win for businesses, it's a win for our entire community, creating ripple effect of prosperity that reaches every corner of Menifee. Moreover, a strong collaboration between the city and the chamber enhances the overall business environment. Through a joint initiative such as marketing campaigns, business development, job growth programs, and networking events, small businesses gain invaluable exposure and support, like what Felipe was talking about. This fosters an environment where entrepreneurship can thrive, leading to innovation, job creation, and vibrant local economy. Additionally, the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce, I'm going to zip through this now, provides an essential bridge between businesses and local government. This partnership facilitates open communication channels, enabling us as business owners to voice our concerns, share insights, and actively contribute to the decision-making processes that shape our community. That's important to me. I want to be a part of that. You know, I like being a part of the chamber here and having a voice and having a real connection to our city. In conclusion, I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to both Menifee City Council and the Menifee Chamber of Commerce for considering a crucial MOU. I'm sure this MOU will have a better city experience. I know the chamber will make it so that there is something special. There's something special happening right now within our chamber. We have great members. We have amazing leaders, and I think we all feel like that's true today. Through this partnership fosters accountability, mutual respect, and I know we'll see positive outcomes that benefit the city we love and the residents/businesses that deserve the best. I believe that partnership
Mr.
tonight.
White, your time is up.
Thank you. I almost got through.
All right, thank you, Jason. And Next up is...
I don't know, maybe I should yield to the rest for the rest of yours.
Yeah, welcome, Ms. Carpenter.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here this evening. Good evening, council members and Mayor Zimmerman. My time will be shorter in as much as my colleagues have done a great job in outlining many of the benefits of this contract, as has the presentation by the economic development team. So I won't be redundant if I can help it. I want to give a more personal perspective through a different lens, my lens. I do know that this is the time, more than any other time that I can remember, to boldly step forward and declare our place as an economic force, not just in our city, our great city, but also in the region. This can be accomplished by the proposal before you this evening, as we are embarking on a new territory by collaborating together in a robust economic partnership, providing a successful pathway for better economic opportunities. To give you some perspective from my lens, I've worked in this community since 1981. Yes, I have lived here since 2002, sorry. I was a chamber president, my first stint around, in 1988. So you can imagine what I've witnessed and the growth and continue to witness. I tell people that I know where some of the bodies are. That's how long I've been here, okay? Are buried, actually. And I also know when the chamber had failures and, more importantly, successes. This is what I'm looking forward to, is a success. I was in my late 20s when I started working in Sun City. I've basically grown up here. My heart is here in Sun City. I want to work and play right in this city. I love the fact, as a businesswoman, I do not have to travel outside of Menifee to work or play. I want that for our citizens, and this partnership helps establish one of the goals by promoting local businesses and economic growth, along with attracting entrepreneurship. We saw that in Councilmember Carwin's clip at the State of the City. Those small businesses establishing themselves and growing their business right here, and we, the Chamber of Commerce, along with the city, can help foster and grow these businesses like Felipe's, attracting more to seek out Menifee as a place they can establish their business. There are many other opportunities, as outlined in the contract before you, that we can further accomplish this. As a stakeholder, the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce is committed to this partnership and has already formulated a written transition plan to help navigate accomplishing these goals, as outlined in the MOU, with accountability factor incorporated therein. It's been my honor to chair and serve, and my time is about up here. Nonprofits, the college. I reiterate my opening statement. This is the time to come together in a new, more inventive way to move this business community to a higher economic benefits not ever seen before. Thank you for your commitment, Council. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Ms. Carpenter.
Damian Green is up next, followed by Leonard Greenlee.
Welcome, Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'm Damian Green from One's Windows and Maintenance. My wife, Beverly Green, with Empower Consulting Group, and we're opening up a new mailbox store right here in Sun City. So it's awesome. We came to Menifee almost a year ago and discovered a treasure here, our first home in the beautiful city of Menifee. We've been making our way around and found the Chamber of Commerce by attending business mixers. Everyone was welcoming, and we've warmed up with many members, so much that we're now ambassadors with the Chamber. Mayor Zimmerman has been such.
Yeah. We're right at the end, man.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
This could be bad.
It's my guy. Mayor Zimmerman has been such a great influence, along with the rest of the chamber. The Menifee Chamber of Commerce strongly recommends that networking will build your business, and it has. Our businesses have seen a positive outcome from doing just that. Being fairly new to Menifee, we recommend that you stay focused and build strong relationships with the other great people that reside here. So we ask that the council please join with Menifee Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green. We appreciate it. We're glad you're here. All right, Mr. Greenlee, thank you for coming.
My pleasure, Mayor. Good evening, City Council members and Mayor. My name is Leonard Greenlee, and I'm here to advocate for approval of the Economic Development Jobs Now Initiative and Sponsorship Agreement between the Menifee Valley Chamber of Commerce and the City of Menifee. I've been a member of the Board of Directors of the Chamber for the last 5 years, and I've had the opportunity to watch the tremendous business growth that has taken place in the City of Menifee during this time. The Economic Development Department, led by Gina Gonzalez, has done an outstanding job of bringing new businesses to the City of Menifee. However, once these new businesses are on board, the process doesn't stop there. It's important for those new businesses, as well as existing businesses, to feel that they have joined a community where they have an opportunity to grow and thrive. And this is where the Chamber of Commerce can be of great assistance to businesses, both large and small, within the city confines. Our Board of Directors is very excited about the opportunity to partner with the City of Menifee. In preparation for the approval of this agreement, our board has already developed and approved a transition plan for the Chamber, breaking the services to be provided to the city into committees chaired by some of the top business owners and community members within Menifee. We are also excited about the opportunity to partner with the city in the recruitment of our new executive director. And upon approval of this agreement, we'll immediately add a city representative to our board of directors, which will ensure that the city plays a major role in setting the future direction of the chamber. Tonight is a watershed moment for the city, the chamber, and the Menifee business community. And approval of the Economic Development Jobs Now Initiative and Sponsorship Agreement would not only assist in the creation of new jobs within the city of Menifee, but would also propel the chamber forward to becoming an organization we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greenlee. Madam Clerk, any other speakers?
Yes, Raymond Barcia.
Ramon?
Sorry, Ramon. Yes, I apologize, Ramon. Sorry, yes.
And any others after him?
No, that's it. He's the last
Okay.
one.
Welcome, Ramon. How are you, buddy?
Best for last, I guess.
Yes.
Yes, very well. Thank you. All right. Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I will try to keep my comments brief this evening. So, my name is Ramon Barcia. I've been a Menifee resident for almost 10 years now. Cub Master also for local Menifee Cub Scout Pack 444. And current Menifee Chamber Ambassador. My wife and I opened Chefs for Seniors of Riverside and Temecula just a few months ago and have been welcomed by loving arms by this chamber. Our small business is growing by leaps and bounds in the senior community, thanks to the help of our Menifee Chamber, helping with networking, promoting, marketing, etc. We've been blessed to have this business resource that I hope more businesses participate in. Our chamber has an amazing group of members, and honestly, if you own a business and do business in Menifee and are not part of the chamber, you are indeed losing vital opportunities. I encourage other business owners to reach out to the Menifee Chamber and to help grow and share your business. This city has truly been a business welcoming city. Let's keep it that way by going and approving the Jobs Now initiative tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barcia. Do we have any others? So that's it, right?
There are no more requests.
All right, very good. Anyone else? This is it. All right, hearing no other speakers, I'm going to bring it back behind the rail here. Council members, we can open it up now for discussion, share some thoughts, and ultimately what's being asked is that we approve and allow the city manager to execute a Jobs Now initiative with the chamber and also appropriating some of those ARPA funds. So I'm going to go ahead and send it over to Councilmember Sobek.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank all of you who waited to the end of the meeting with the last agenda item practically here tonight, the discussion item, and appreciate all your comments and appreciate the work that you do in the business community. I support the chamber, and I support the direction that they want to go with Menifee jobs and job creation and making that change. As I've thought about this and knowing that they need to recruit somebody of caliber, I thought they won't be able to attract someone unless that person knows there's job security. I don't think any of us would take a job if we knew we were only going to have it a year and it might need to be renewed. Maybe, maybe not. And so looking where we've come as a city, and as Ms. Gonzalez shared tonight, some of the things that are going on with our growth, I think it's time we take the chamber to the next level. And so I like the direction of the change. It needs to be about job creation, economic growth, better economy. Some of these things I wrote down that were said, let the businesses thrive that are here. And I think going out and searching for someone who has some knowledge and we can give them some stability for the next 3 years, I think they'll have better candidates. So that's my decision and direction and comments.
All right, so you support
I do support
staff's
the job.
recommendation?
Yes.
Okay, any other speakers? Go ahead.
I have a couple questions. I would like some clarity onto how much revenue the chamber is already bringing in with its members, and any ballpark idea of the 100,000. How much is it going to this one man, this executive director, or woman?
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that. So right now we're staffed with one individual. You might have met him. His name is Daniel Morales. He's our marketing and communications manager. He makes $20 an hour. With the SB 525, we're going to have to raise his salary starting next year to stay compliant. We have over 300 members who have annual membership dues that come in. So our monthly expenses, our monthly revenue, and our monthly expenditures about wash out any profit that we have right now, just with Daniel and the rent and the services that we provide currently. The additional money would be used primarily to fund the executive, the president. However, it's not going to be everything because we have to layer on top of that benefits and employer payroll taxes that will have to be included in that cost. So what we have done is we have looked at the revenue sources from current, so sort of 4 buckets: current, this potential MOU, so this would be 1/4 of pulling all of this together, or probably even a little more than that, maybe half that. And then there's some opportunity through the GEMS program, which you mentioned briefly earlier, that needs to be elevated. And that's where we get the bigger businesses who are interested in investing into the region. My company, for example, is a great example where they're waiting to see what Menifee is doing before they start dropping the $10,000 and $20,000 like they do in Marietta and Temecula. Right now, they drop about $2,500. And as you know, UHS has a lot more money than that. So there's opportunity there with that GEMS program. And then when the new president comes on, there's opportunity to look at things like grants and additional ways to generate revenue that'll be independent, that then allows that individual, similar to what Brooke is doing and what Patrick is doing and what Kim has done, to really look for those business venture opportunities that bring in revenue above and beyond the relationship. And all of them have revenue streams that come in above and beyond the MOU with the city. So those numbers that Gina gave you is not the entirety of what supports those chambers. Temecula, for example, has 10 staff. There's no way that 200,000 covers that 10 staff.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope, I'll save my comments a little bit later, though.
Okay. I mean, it's actually open for comments as well. All right. Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem is next in the queue, and then Councilman Dinas.
Yeah, you know, I've worked with the chamber for a long time. I'm a member of the chamber. I'll disclose that. I've been a member of the chamber for 10 years or so. And I've seen the ebb and flow of the energy level of our chamber, and which is why this thing came up last year and what we're seeing now. And I think really I'm seeing a different energy from this chamber now than we've seen in recent memory. And the turnout that we're seeing tonight, and the what we're hearing from the members, and having attended, Mayor, you and I both attend chamber events on a regular basis, and it feels different. And so with the opportunity, it strikes me that we're using ARPA funds here. It's not coming out of the city's general fund. So this isn't we're taking money from the taxpayers and giving it to the Chamber of Commerce. It's what the money's intended for. And I think, I forget who it was. I think it might have been Ramon who used the term watershed moment for, who was it that said that? Oh, yeah, Mr. Greenlee. So it's a watershed moment for the Chamber, and I agree with that. It feels that way. So giving the Chamber an opportunity to springboard, so to speak, with the funds kind of intended for that purpose is something that I think I can support.
Councilman Dinas.
Thank you. I echo a lot what Councilman Carwin said about, that we've had our relationship with the chamber has kind of been up and down over the last few years. That the pandemic didn't help that at all, when most people could even do business if they wanted to. I still firmly believe that small businesses are the backbone of any city. They're certainly nationally the largest employer in the country, and anything we can do to help those businesses be successful means the city is more successful. I know it's not general fund money coming in, but it's still residents' money because we're responsible for that. But with that, I think with the way that the new agreement is set up with the city involvement, I think there's what I'll call safeguards in place to work with the chamber. And I have to agree with Councilmember Carwin. There is a new energy. I don't know the last time we've had almost the whole chamber sitting in our audience here on something like this. So, and I thank you for being here, because a lot of familiar faces, but it shows your commitment not just to your own companies, but to the city as well. And I really appreciate that. One thing I do want to bring up, though, that I don't want to call it concern, but something to raise is the proposed agreement states that the chamber will provide a sustainability plan by the end of the agreement term. That's 3 years out. To me, waiting to the end is a little too late. By that time, to do 3 years and then get a sustainability plan, I think needs to be done earlier than that, whether in the second year or year and a half into it. I'd feel much more confidence to know that they're on their way until after the end to see what's going. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have a good plan, it's not going to work, but I'm looking at it as a
safeguard.
We're responsible for spending our residents and our city's money, so I want to make sure that the funds that we're going to commit are, in fact, working as they're supposed to be.
Great point. One of the things, and as the council has acknowledged, it is a very different chamber. So one of the discussions that the chair and I have had was at the recruitment and on the onboarding of the executive director in the first 90 days, starting to work on that plan with their board. In addition, would you be amenable to maybe adjusting the language to maybe at halfway through the contract versus the end of the contract?
I would feel better about it. I don't know about anyone else on the council here, but to know that, the sooner we know that they've got a good plan and it's working, the better I'll feel that that the city is getting their money's worth, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah, and the objective really is from day one, and this is why we need the higher caliber individual, is that's exactly what they're tasked with. So it's not just to comply in kind of old world thinking, comply with a list of tasks to accomplish on behalf of the city, but really to look day one at that relationship and take plays from other books to create a stronger, sustainable chamber across the board. So sort of day one, the board's committed to that, and we're looking for an executive that would take that task on. So we're comfortable, if you want to amend that language a little bit, that we can demonstrate movability towards that end.
Yeah, I understand, your focus is going to be on bringing in the right person, but after that, then, as we go along, that's what I think, maybe after the second year, to see what that plan is and how it's working out. For me personally, to give me some comfort. But that's just one thing I have to.
I agree. Go ahead, Ricky.
So I think this chamber has done a great job with what you have. You guys have pulled it together. You guys are successful. You guys have a lot to be proud about, and that's without our help. The way I'm reading this is you need an executive director to basically help unlock some of the doors you want to open. Is that correct?
I'm going to be candid with you. I've spent probably 20 hours a week helping manage this chamber in addition to the board members. We have all taken on jobs addition to our these are volunteers. We're all volunteering. We have stepped into the shoes for the sake of maintaining the chamber. We would have lost it much earlier if any one of us stepped away from stepping hard into doing this. I think you've all seen that. That's where that energy is coming from. Our heart and soul is into this, and we want to do that. So that's part of what we're looking for is we need a director to take on the duties that we're doing on behalf of them. I'm balancing the book. I'm writing checks. So are the other chair members. So we're looking for someone who can take this on, the day-to-day responsibilities. We can honestly be then the board that can have the responsibility similar to how you guys function. You have your city managers and staff, and you have your board and you direct. We need to move into that role. That's the key that we want to unlock is that relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for clarifying that. So I want to support the chamber. Everyone wants businesses to be successful, right? If you look at your future agenda item, I requested lowering the business licensing fees to the lowest in the county. I want you guys to hit home runs every day. The thing I struggle with the most is it's a private entity, and we're a government entity, and giving taxpayer dollars to a private entity kind of, I struggle with it. And on top of that, we should be at your feet. You guys are the businesses. You guys are the money makers. You guys make this city run. But for right now, it feels a little awkward having the private enterprise come and say, hey, we need government intervention. Can you help us? It's a tough decision for me. I would like to see maybe the funding specifically for your executive director to target that specific need, but a blanket $100,000 check, got to think about that a little bit.
All right, hearing no other comments, I do want to share a few things. I've kind of been around a little while, and just like Vicki and Karen, you guys both shared a little bit about the history, and I remember there were two chambers in the city at one time, and in fact, one of them was a fiscal agent for becoming a city, right? And the efforts there. And so it is a good partnership, and it's a brother-sister thing. It's been a rough year or so after COVID, and there's been some, disappointments, I'll just put it like that. But I think we're at a place where we're about to turn the corner and do something special, do something that really is significant that we can look back on a couple of years from now and go, man, that was a good move. That was the way to do it. I liked that Jason White, wherever you are, you said the words, this is a different plan. We're doing something different than we've done. And that means a lot. Leonard, you talked about transition. This is a transition into a new way of doing things. Jackie, you mentioned the social networking and all of that, and that means a lot too. I agree with you. That's where you cross-pollinate and you weave yourselves together with all the businesses here, and we circulate our wealth in this city together, and that's brilliant. During that slow time, I saw something that Tony Riverdito did, and that was champion the gala, and to me that seemed like the change. It showed there was a real desire to do something, to raise some money and keep this thing afloat and get us to today. And I think that financially was a great event. Well done, Tony, and it gave a lot of us hope. And so I'm pleased. I do want to say a couple of years ago when after COVID, I met with a city manager and assistant city manager, and we talked about ARPA funds and what to do with that money. Where can we put it to its best use? And I had said, is there an opportunity for our Chamber of Commerce to have that pass through us to them? And the answer was yes, we'll look for that opportunity. This is it. This is that opportunity. We're at the end. We're almost expended all of that money, but I'm glad to see that it's making it into the Chamber's hands. I also wanted to say I'm glad that there's a city staff member on the board of directors that's a voting member. I think that's good. I hope it ends up being Gina, or at least somebody on her team, because she knows economic development better than anybody I know. And then to have an elected that's non-voting on there is a good thing. I have been that person. I would like to have my council colleagues consider maybe taking over that role if you'd like. Please don't just think or assume that I'm going to keep doing it. If one of you guys wants to, please raise your hand, say, I'd love to do that. That's not for us to decide yet, but keep it in mind. It's open for everybody on this council. All right, so those are my thoughts. Like I said, I see us turning a corner right here, and we're going to start something new in a new direction. And so I fully support staff's recommendation to have our city manager execute this initiative with the chamber. So,
Do we make a motion, or is it receive and file?
Mr. Melching, what do we need? Do we need a motion and a second? I believe we do.
You do need a motion, and you need to clarify whether your motion includes Councilmember Dynes's suggestion to move the report to the midpoint.
I'll make that motion to include as amended by Councilman Dynes.
And I second.
All right.
Exhibit A.
Exhibit A.
Okay.
Yes, so we have a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded, so we'll just do our electronic voting and see what the results are. And that passes unanimously, so you guys let's...
Council members.
Yep.
Council members, I want to thank everyone and thank Armando and everyone who's participated. Ricky, I would love for you to take Bill's spot. I think it would be...
Well, be careful, he's going to make you work.
You hear that? You hear that?
But you have to be able to attend. You can't say, pick me, and then not make it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll take care of it, Bill.
All right. All right, so let's move on now. We are on city attorney reports. Mr. Attorney, do we have anything? No?
We do not.
And then our interim city manager, Ms. Kramer, do you have anything to share?
Nothing to report, thank you.
All right, and then our next item is future agenda request. Councilmember Sobek, are you in the queue?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, in the presentation tonight that was actually made for the Veterans Committee, when the commissions and committees were being discussed, the Menifee Citizens Advisory Committee is on there. And I'd like to put this on as a future agenda item to discuss this as a council to see if we might want to change the way that we make our appointments. Since we've been having, what I've noticed is since we've been having the Citizens Academy, so many people want to volunteer and be involved. And I'm just wondering if it might be an opportunity to let a different group of people participate in city stuff.
Okay, so right now the MCAC has it set up where we're having already appointed commissioners also serve as MCAC. You're saying change
Have a discussion.
to open it up for just
different-
members of the public instead
Yes,
of appointed.
yes.
I'll second that.
All right. There we go.
And
Any
then I
other-
want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Mayor
So-
Zimmerman, I had a
yes.
request.
Okay.
We had the sheriff, the former Riverside County sheriff, come in and mention the RV situations going on around town. I'd like to visit that and talk more about it, the RV ordinance.
What is the motion? To review the ordinance for amendment?
The RV ordinance we have.
I'll second it for you.
Any others, council members? All right, hearing none, we are adjourned this evening. It is 8:42, and again, thank you everybody for being here. If it's wet out there, be careful.